Wendy Bell Radio is live.
Hey, what's going on? What was that? That was really loud.
That was my phone. I didn't have it on.
Bong!
mute.
You ever had that feeling that you had something in your teeth? You're like,
No, but I felt like I had a bat in a cave this morning.
it was one of your nose hairs, probably. He wore black socks yesterday with shorts. Take off a shoe and show him your shoe. Just show him your shoe. This is legendary. He wore black short socks.
I did it on purpose. I walked out and Kate's looking at me. I'm like, I'm doing it to piss Wendy off.
No, that's such hooey balooey.
It's not hooey.
It's hooey. I know it's hooey. What's going on? All right, so I just paid $49 for a year subscription to that Business Insider.
I don't know why you just didn't do a free trial and then cancel it.
Because I need more things to read. How's everybody doing? What's going on? What's shaking bacon? Because I love hearing from you guys. I love all of your messages. And I hope you realize how much you are appreciated and loved. I mean that. I mean, he probably doesn't love you, but I do.
Well, I thought you were talking to me. You're talking to them.
I got a lot going on today, friends. Doesn't it seem dark? Does it seem dark over here? What's this? Is this over here? Yes.
Do you need me off?
No. Just seems... Hold on, please.
There you go. There you go.
Is that better?
Yeah.
I need sunshine. Who needs some sunshine on their skin?
We're getting it now.
Oh, my goodness. All right, I'm going to... until
Sunday?
what? Yeah. I want to show you. This is what my backyard looks like right now. This is my backyard. This is the guys at Shellhaus Construction. Completely, that's the footprint of what's going to be the new patio. There is serious equipment all over my life. A big fat porta potty at the end of the driveway. And we're in construction. You know what? I love construction.
You're not letting them use your bathroom?
I love construction. I mean...
You know what's nice about it? Can I see if I'm right about you?
Okay.
You like it because you see the daily progress. You can physically see things getting better. And to you, that's important, to be able to see progression of things moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
5 years, I think I know.
Yeah. Well, you've lived somewhere for 25 years. And you're like, why don't we ever sit out here? Because it sucks. Because it's ugly and it sucks. Other than that,
I will give you credit. Your house is beautiful.
Other than that, it's fine.
That back area, I can say, I never sat in it.
Because it sucks.
But you sit in the front one, which is just a little fire table and chairs. But yeah, I never sat back there.
This is where like a spider comes down.
Yeah. And partly because I was never invited to play wiffle ball. Anyway,
I want to tell you guys about Kelly Morgan and Morgane's Fitness. I have so many of her testimonials, so many of the people. I mean, this guy, this was in what she did in 90 days. This is 8 months. This guy lost 100 pounds of fat. Look at that. That is just crazy. And while there are extreme examples like this, sometimes you just got to get your abs back. Sometimes it's 10 or 15 pounds, and then you're like, holy smokes. And you start standing up again. And then you, I don't know, put on a little bit of makeup when you go out, and you look nice, and you put it together, and you've got it going on. Sometimes you need 10 or 15 pounds to feel like, all right, okay, I can do this. And that's what I love about Kelly Morgan. You know, it's not going to break the bank, but it is going to be somebody on your side who's there to help you. Morgane's Fitness, MORGAINZ fitness.com. Ask what you could do from the comfort of your own home with her. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. And then once you start going, it's kind of addictive, like my hair.
I have a request for everyone.
Oh.
If you're on Rumble or you use Rumble, go check out our shorts. Michael makes money if you watch in like the shorts.
He says they've been doing really, really
Yeah.
well.
We're the front page. You were on the front page yesterday.
He said that we're getting 20,000 views there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you can check it out
And a
watch
lot of
it.
engagement. It's always you. It's your
Yeah.
engagement. It's what you do here. You
So
know,
I'll
and
make a pitch for Toolsy.
we also, Alan went back and looked at some of your answers to the UFO question. Like, do you believe in these aliens and whatnot? And we've got the breakdown from you and your comments, thanks to my friend Alan. And I'm going to give those to you later in the show. I want to see what you guys are talking about. I care what you think. So please offer us a comment, and it allows me to point whore.
Yeah, hell.
At least I'm honest. I
what
tell you the point, but I do honestly care. I do care.
Remember, check out the shorts.
We'll explain that.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back. Not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at me.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we are converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Hello, America. Welcome home to the Wendy Bell radio program. We are so delighted to greet you all across the beautiful fruited plain and say hello. Happy Friday. We got a great show for you, as always. Look, 3 hours of kind of friendly conversation that is absolutely biased towards the right. I make no bones about that whatsoever. I'm 100% conservative, no question. And I care about what we care about as MAGA conservatives in this country. And if you feel the way I do, that there's nothing at all extreme about what you think, then you're going to find out that we share a lot of the same things that you feel. WendyBellRadio.com. WendyBellRadio.com. That's where you go. Get our app and join the live video stream. Join the chat. Share with us what you think. We got stuff going on. We got stuff with John Roberts going on today. So let's get through the most important part of the program, and then we'll drop this bomb on you, because nobody in the media is talking about it. What? Welcome home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. I don't know how to say this to you because I'm afraid I don't say it enough. I think these are words that we don't share with one another enough. We've gotten into this habit of walking past each other on the sidewalk, and instead of even passing niceties, we look at the ground or pretend we're not seeing somebody. What happened to, how are you? Have a great day. Beautiful morning. We don't do that anymore. We don't say to each other, I see you. You matter to me. And thank you. I want to thank you. I was talking to my son, Michael, yesterday, and Michael handles our podcast and everything that is Wendy Bell Radio social media. And in a few short years, he has taken us from 0 to 400,000 followers on several platforms. And every day, doggedly, he puts out content. He takes clips of his mom and he puts it out there on various platforms, and you watch, you comment, and you share, and you join with me. Do you know that every month I get 250,000 podcast downloads? 250,000. That's crazy. Every 4 months, we get 1 million new people paying attention to what we're doing. This isn't possible without you. It's not possible without you showing up. It's not possible without you showing up at elections. It's not possible without you teaching your children and your grandchildren the way you have. Look, what we're doing in this country is in our hands. It really is. And I want to flip this switch in our thinking that we are just piggy banks that every April 15th have to cough up more money for God knows what to God knows whom. We're so much more than that. That we get the government that we demand, that we get answers when we push for them. There are people in Congress, ladies and gentlemen, who are criminals. There are people in Congress, ladies and gentlemen, no doubt, who are rapists, who are drug abusers, who are derelicts, who, by the way, if you took them out of Congress, have no redeemable talent or skill. And it is that desperation that fuels their, what? Fraud and corruption and all this stuff. This stops when you and I say it stops. And every single day, this president talks directly to you. If you don't follow what he says, or you get lost in other things and you don't listen to the message that he's driving home, one of the most important things he's hammered on, even with this war in Iran, even with the Department of Homeland Security, this government shutdown, and all of this stuff with midterms and redistricting and just nonsense meant to slow him down, gum up the works, stall his progress, run out the clock, make him run on that hamster wheel. This president is telling you a message. We're going to expose the people who've been stealing from you. People like Jerome Powell, who has spent $3 billion on a building that Donald Trump said he could have fixed for what, $20 million? Where does the money go? Who gets it? Because we know we pay for it. And yet these projects take years. You never get any project reports, no updates. Nobody comes to you and says, you know what? We shopped this guy around and we got a better offer. I like this fellow. He's an expert. He's under budget and he says he could do it in half the time. Why ever does that never happen to us? Until now. This is what this president is telling you. Pay attention to the people on the Supreme Court. John Roberts, I believe, is going to go down. Have you seen this? That he and his wife took $20 million, reportedly, from firms that he rules on. Law firms. That his wife is a legal recruiter who made a shite ton of dough last year, y'all. That he didn't disclose. Now, if we are to protect democracy and protect the Constitution, how do you do that if you allow corruption on the bench? You don't. It took years to get to this point, ladies and gentlemen. Decades of drip, drip propaganda. Decades of infiltration of progressive, wackadoodle, communist nightmare ideology taking seed and root in our public schools. It's taken this complete capture of a young generation of women that is not stupid, but will not be saved because I don't know who's got the snap that's going to wake them up from the trance. And now we have a generation of young men who are leaving the women of their cohort, seeking love and touch and shared experiences with women of older generations. Wait till you hear this story today, ladies and gentlemen. All of this is being projected to you every single day that this president reaches out, whether it's on the news, whether it's on Truth Social, whether it's anywhere else in the world. He tells you the deep state is doomed. Ilhan Omar can't run forever, ladies and gentlemen. She will be found guilty of breaking our most precious laws. And if she's not deported, if she's not kicked off of this land, you know that double standard is too serious to break. I do believe, though, friends, it's going to happen. As I read this story from a leftist, and I agree with him, a huge progressive writer for PBS and NPR talks about the 16 years of federal financial disclosure forms that Chief Justice John Roberts mischaracterized. And he mischaracterized more than $20 million in household income from law firms appearing before the Supreme Court. He concealed his wife's equity stake in her employer, for 3 consecutive years. He failed to step aside to recuse himself from more than 500 cases argued at the Supreme Court by law firms that had paid his household millions and millions in commissions. He constructed the court's first ethics code and then freaking made it unenforceable. This is a course of conduct stretching across 2 decades that is coming out, connected by a single line, a single thread, the belief that the rules that apply to everybody else don't apply to him. That is not America. You do not get to be protected merely because you put on a robe or you put on a lapel pin or you have a special clearance card that gets you beeped into the inner sanctum of the Capitol. We expect you to serve and behave at the highest order. And I speak for a very tired country when I say we're so tired of you not fulfilling that. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's talk about yesterday, California. Did you guys see the debate? Gubernatorial debate. A couple sound bites that I think are worthy of your common sense conservative ears. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
Tom Cotton. Marijuana is much more potent today than it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Going back, Arkansas doesn't want more dangerous drugs obtained more easily. A change in marijuana drug classifications is a step in the wrong direction. Shut up.
But if they had read what this was, what it is, I believe, is it's a monster tax break for the providers of medical cannabis. And it's a removal of more layers of red tape that allow people who have no business cashing in on this from taking their fair share and making it harder for you to get it. Whatever, Tom. Let me tell you about the Simkovich Concussion Institute. My friend, Dr. Charles Simkovich, his wife, Stacy, is his right-hand woman. And she was a patient before, obviously, they got married and what have you. And she had gotten badly injured and was probably pretty desperate. And she went to go see Dr. Simkovich at his practice at the Simkovich Concussion Institute. And the man that healed her was the man probably who saved her. And she probably saved him too. And they got married and they created this beautiful family together and created this practice that heals people from all sorts of stuff. From obviously essential tremor, and which we now know, chronic headaches, post-traumatic stress, concussion. 412-366-3700. 412-366-3700. Simkovich Concussion Institute.com. You think that you might not be helped. It's not possible. You're not like that. What do you have to lose? That's my feeling. What do you have to lose? What are you sending me? Is it going to hurt my feelings?
Breaking from Fox News. Justice Department announced it's readopting the firing squad as a means of execution.
Huh. WTF is that?
I got a bunch of people to line up.
And did you hear he's renovating Alcatraz?
Good.
He's trying to get money to renovate Alcatraz? Dude. And the alligator one is still kosher? I'm telling you, there's going to be a roundup. I have to believe. I might be in a fantasy world.
Hope dies last.
But how you doing? Who wants to be with me in my fantasy world? You tell me in the comments.
Oh,
say, I'll go with you, baby. Whoever is the best offer, I'll be like,
wow.
In any capacity. This just in. Breaking news into the Wendy Bell Radio newsroom. The Justice Department, oh my gosh, announces it is readopting the firing squad as a means of execution. Kind of odd timing for that. What's going on? Ilhan Omar's like, can I get out of here now? Now, how about now? I'm going to read you more about this, but I want to, oh my goodness, huh? I want to talk to you a little bit about this California gubernatorial debate last night. You got a bunch of Democrats. Excuse me, I have a tickle in my throat trying to get through it. You have these Democrats, including Xavier Becerra, other members of the Biden administration, people, Democrats of noteworthy suck. All vying. Katie Porter, all she had to say was, we're going to fight Trump. I'm going to fight Trump, Trumpity, Trump, Trump, Trumpity, Trump, Trump, Trump. And you're like, well, what about homelessness? What about addiction? What about taxes? What about restrictions? What about housing? What about anything? What about anything? Trump, it's Trump's fault. I'm going to fight Trump. Well, there were two guys, two Republicans, Chad Bianco, Riverside County Sheriff. This guy is the one who got tipped off by whistleblowers during an election. And it was like the 2024, I think it might have been 2024. And they went in to get all the ballots and do a forensic analysis of it because it was allegations of stolen election. And the whole Rob Bonta, Attorney General of the state, went haywire. So he's asking or answering a question here about Gavin Newsom and how is he doing? And this guy launches into, you want to know why nothing gets done in California? Because the wheels of an investigation could move forward, but your Democrat stymied government here will never allow an investigation to actually come to fruition. Listen.
Well, we're never going to know if our elections are secure because when law enforcement does legitimate investigations into the allegations, it's stopped by our current Democrat one-party rule in California, particularly our embarrassment of an attorney general. So this was a very, very basic, normal investigation. The allegation didn't come from a group. It came from reports that our own records, county records from the Registrar of Voters that do not match the output of votes counted. So a very simple investigation would have counted those ballots to see if they match the votes. But we now have a massive political outcry from our Attorney General using political lawfare to stop a lawful investigation. And it wasn't stopped. The investigation was not stopped by the Supreme Court. It was stopped so we could argue these ridiculous allegations from the Attorney General about whether or not he has authority to stop that investigation in the first place.
And to clarify, would you consider taking the same action after this primary election if you don't believe the results? You have 15 seconds.
You made that assumption that that's why this happened. That is absolutely horrific that you basically said that I did that because of how I felt. If we get information, I've been 33 years in law enforcement investigating crime. Do you want me to start doing that with murders? I mean, this is ridiculous. This is an absolute ridiculous question. This is a ridiculous topic because we have an allegation of voter fraud. And Californians are sick of voter fraud. They're sick of politics. And they believe there's voter fraud.
Right,
but when
Mr.
we
Bianco.
try to fix it, it is stopped.
So we can't investigate allegations of voter fraud because if we do so, you're going to use that and say that all we want to do is always allege voter fraud if we don't win. Or there's voter fraud and everybody's tired of freaking voter fraud. How about that? That works for me. You? Yeah. Here's Steve Hilton. He's running as well as a Republican. He's asked about Gavin Newsom's handling of California's unacceptable homeless problem.
Well, by the way, I'd love to be in your class, Katie, if you get a B for what Gavin Newsom's done on homelessness. My goodness, of course it's an F. It shames our state, the situation with homelessness. We have about 10% of the US population, around 50% of the country's homeless population. And as for Javier praising Gavin Newsom for the photo op where he tried to pretend he was cleaning up a homeless encampment, literally Gavin Newsom did that 3 times in a row. Nothing changed. And nothing will change if you have one of these Democrats in power. It will be more of the same. My plan is a common sense 3-point plan. Number 1, it is illegal to live and camp on the streets. We need to enforce the law. Number 2, we need to get people into the drug treatment that they need, and it cannot be a choice. Number 3, we need to get people the mental health care that they need instead of the barbaric situation we have right now in California as a result of these Democrat policies where the main place where we're treating people with mental health problems is jail. That has to change.
Mr. Hilton, thank you. Ms. Porter, Mr. Becerra, I'll let you respond, but I just want to clarify the second part of my question. Do you think the governor has done anything right on homelessness?
No, everything has taken us in the wrong direction. That's why we spend, what is it, the state auditor found, $24 billion of our money spent on homelessness. They have no idea where it went because it's going into these non-profits and crony developers that are, instead of solving the problem, they are profiting
Okay, Mr.
off these
Hilton,
Democrat
thank you. Your time
policies.
is up.
See, it is on these platforms that you have to be able to capture the attention of people who do not know what is going on, who have absolutely no clue that tens of billions, if not hundreds of billions of dollars have been taken from them and funneled to all these non-government organizations that fund this invasion, that fund all the social services of suck, from which they siphon money to then deliver back into their election coffers. That's the cycle. But without you as the piggy bank, the cycle breaks. This president is showing you this. He's showing you this. And so did Steve Hilton in that particular soundbite. Today, the Department of Justice acted to restore its solemn duty to seek, obtain, and implement lawful capital sentences, clearing the way for the department to carry out executions once death-sentenced inmates have exhausted their appeals. Death by firing squad, ladies and gentlemen. That is what's going on. That is what your president's mind is at right now, okay? Quick timeout. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's talk about Tom Homan. Benny Johnson asks him a question. You got to hear the answer about Ilhan Omar next. Among the actions taken are readopting the lethal injection protocol utilized during the first Trump administration, expanding the protocol to include additional manners of execution, such as the firing squad, and streamlining internal processes to expedite death penalty cases. Look, if you've been found guilty and you should be put to death, you should not linger for 35 freaking years and have me and my family pay for it. Bye-bye. Okay? And for the one person out there who's like, my brother is on death row. Well, he shouldn't have committed a crime. Probably. Sorry. Not so sorry. Other than that, I've got nothing. How's everybody?
I'm going to keep my mouth shut now that the firing squad's back. I don't want
to. This oak silt schmutz that's flying around, all the little fuzz, it's killing me. I wish I could spray this all over my face and it would take it away. Like if you sprayed it on your feet after you feel like the beginnings of foot, like fungal infections, like athlete's foot, take it away, right? I spray this on the shower floor. I spray it all over the toilet, all over the floor around my toilets. I spray it on handles, knobs. I spray it on countertops. I wash my car with it inside, wipe everything off. It's great for surfaces. It's great for your bathroom. It's for everything. Disinfectwithsniper.com. It is the single best all-purpose, hospital-grade antibacterial and disinfectant that you will ever have in your life. And if when you spray it, you begin to smell a slight chlorine scent, that means it's working and that you're a dirty pig.
Well, thanks for clearing that up. Hey, just so you guys know, there's a new product out there for mosquitoes.
Yes, this is going to be
not
big.
something you spray on yourself, but you spray around.
So if
yeah,
you're
I mean,
having
you can spray it on yourself.
You're outside, maybe, I don't know, maybe you're even at your kid's soccer game, you're at a baseball game, you're having a barbecue, you're out on the patio.
Now, full disclosure, I have not used it
I
yet.
haven't either.
So, but if it's anything like the other products like Harmony.
Yeah, we love our Disinfect with Sniper friends. All at that website, disinfectwithsniper.com. I also want to tell you, look, I want to go to tulipblooms.shop /Wendy. All right. So this is fantastic because Mother's Day special. If you click on Mother's Day special, you pick any 3 of the products that Tulip Blooms makes, whether they be the body butters, the scented oils, any of the stuff. It's all delicious. The pain relief salve, all of it. You pick 3, you get 10% off. You pick 4, you get 14% off. You pick 5, you get 20% off. You pick. There's a box there that is my favorite stuff, the things that I would want to get, but you can make your own and make it for your mom in time for Mother's Day. I'm going to tell you, I've always loved the feel of my skin and the look of my toes when I get a manicure. The cuticles are all moisturized. Everything is sleek and nice and fresh. I'm telling you, this is a daily manicure massage every single day. Every single day. It's wonderful. The massage oil, velour. Don't get lost by the massage. You're like, I'm not really big into massage. No. You massage it into your skin and then you go, and if you have dry feet, put this on, let it soak in, put on socks, and then go about your day. And then at night, WendyBellRadio.com. You're welcome. Tulipblooms.shop /Wendy. I love this. We just cut a radio commercial for them. I'm that serious. I want to blast it to as many people as possible. It's wonderful stuff. And you'll notice that the scents, the fragrances that are selected, this isn't some like willy-nilly fly-by-night stuff. They choose very specific scents from very specific parts of nature. And Ashley, who has, I believe, the medicinal, soothing essential oil background, she chooses these things to calm you, to soothe you, to just, and you're going to love them. Just going to love them. Every single day, multiple times a day, I'm using their products. Okay, let's see what's going on. It's only 12:30. This is going so slowly, which is odd. Not that I don't enjoy you at all. Of course I do. Yes, it's speeding by for you.
Promos.
Oh, let's hear it. We'll all hear Kelly's promo for us.
Wendy Bell.
14 deaths or missing people, all working in a field of science, working on unidentified alien aircraft. Amy Eskridge told people in her orbit about a month before she died, I'm not suicidal. If anything happens to me, I did not do it. And she ended up dead. And they said it was a suicide.
Well, it sounded good.
Just stop.
So we don't know what's going to happen with John Roberts. This stuff is coming out. We could talk a lot more about it. There's no mainstream media reporting on this whatsoever. None. Which I find very suspicious. Ow, my eyeball. Like, I want to get into more detail about that, but I want you to hear, I think Ilhan Omar is going to go down. I don't think you can have this much egregious, in-your-face evidence, even of perceived impropriety. You're like, so you're Somalian and the Somalians are ripping off people. You're from Minnesota or live there, and this is happening with Somalians in Minnesota. It's like, how could we connect those dots? So weird. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. I want you guys to consider for a second how completely absurd all the things that are coming out that you and I are experiencing are. Let's just take, for example, the fraud in Minnesota. You're looking at a woman who is a United States Congresswoman, Ilhan Omar. Where is she from? Somalia. What district does she represent? What state? Minnesota. Where's the fraud happening in America? Well, it's everywhere, but a hell of a lot, Minnesota. Who are the people allegedly doing the fraud? Somalians. Oh, I don't know. Is it possible that maybe Ilhan Omar might be connected to that kind of fraud? Like, it's such a stretch of the parameters of reason, right? It's so obvious. And then you're like, okay, so she was broke when she was marrying her husband and what have you, lying on her immigration and probably not even a citizen. I would say this. All this crap's going to go out. This is the slow walk to Ilhan Omar's deportation. Okay. So you can look at all the people she's married, her brother, the other guy, and then this white guy now, Tim Mynett, whatever he is. And they're like, oh, our financial worth is, negligible. And then all of a sudden in 1 year, it balloons to up to $30 million. Then people start sniffing around that. And they're like, how did you make $30 million? Like, where? And she's like, oh, it's an accounting error for my CPA. And then all of a sudden, the winery that she and her husband allegedly have been running dissolves. There's no grapes. There's no vines. There's no land. There's no website. There's no building. There's nothing except fraud. And you and I are supposed to be like, I'm sure there's something out there that explains all that. Yeah. She's been getting freaking away with it for a hell of a long time. And she's probably just the tip of the iceberg, which is gross. So Benny Johnson sitting down at whatever, if it's Turning Point, something that he's doing. And the border czar, by the way, can I just say to the border czar, Mr. Homan, you are a national treasure. You are a badass, good father, strict, honest, Catholic man. And you've put your life on the line. You've put your family up in a safe place because the venom for you has been so amazing, so disgusting. And yet you don't fly off the handle. It's amazing how you are. And we are so grateful to you. I cannot tell you enough how grateful I am to you, Mr. Homan. Well, Benny Johnson has him on, and he's like, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about this Ilhan Omar stuff? And he says to the border czar, Benny does. He's like, look, I was just talking to the vice president the other day. And J.D. Vance gave me a little scoop. I'd like to hear your comments on it. Listen.
I sat down with the vice president, and he was talking about fraud. He just finished up his first roundtable meeting about fraud and how to attack it with the entire department, with all the department heads. It was very impressive. Of course, everybody's in favor of this. And I asked about the Somali daycare fraud, and he just straight up jumped right in and said, Stephen Miller's upstairs, and he has proof that Ilhan Omar lied on her immigration forms. We have that paperwork. We know she did this. And now we're looking for how to take action. Can you fill us in? Do you know what's going to happen? Is the Trump administration going to go there? The floor is yours.
The whole file is being reviewed. A lot of smart people are on it. Stay tuned.
Oh, stay tuned. And then everybody in the audience sort of like is like, what? The whole file? Because the whole file is Ilhan Omar coming over here with her family. And a lot of people out there demonstrably believe that when her father naturalized or when he became a citizen, that Ilhan was no longer a minor because a minor child also becomes naturalized when the parent does. She was an adult. So what would be the likelihood that they have the file that Ilhan Omar might not even be an American citizen, defrauding the American people, potentially of up to $30 million if you're to believe her disclosures? Well, Fox News is all over it. They're all on this accountant who made a mistake. So apparently Minnesota lawmakers are now investigating Ilhan Omar's connection to the Feeding Our Future scam, where what happened? Oh, Somalians were stealing what? $250 million in COVID meals that they never were provided. Did any of that money make it back to the kindly Congresswoman? I don't know. Let's listen in.
Financial disclosures had said the estate of Omar and her husband, Tim Minett, jumped from being in debt to somewhere between $6 million and $30 million in 2024. They amended their financial disclosure and released it to show the estate is really somewhere between $18,000 and $95,000. They blame the discrepancy as much as $29 million on an accountant who did not subtract the liabilities of Minett's businesses. And this is the same Congresswoman who championed the Meals Act. That was the COVID relief program intended to provide food for poor kids suffering during the pandemic. Republicans say that created the pathway for the Feeding Our Future scandal, a $250 million boondoggle of meals billed but never provided. A restaurant at the center of the scandal was the Safari restaurant. Omar held campaign events there. One of the owners, Salem Ahmed Saeed, was convicted for his role in the scandal. The Republican chair of the House Fraud Committee made repeated requests for Omar to show up. No response from Omar.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but maybe this is something that happens commonly where you live. Do you guys wake up every day? Somebody new in the neighborhood all of a sudden is a new millionaire. Like they wake up and they're like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. Honey, we're worth $25-30 million all of a sudden. And then all of a sudden, too, a couple days after that, oh, nuts. I guess we aren't worth that much. Like you're supposed to just accept that at face value. It's the most ridiculous thing. So then Benny Johnson continues and he's like, what about this winery? What about this company that Tim Minett had? Well, he's getting his arse sued right now, out the wazoo. But Benny focuses on the wine. Let's listen into what he's exposing here. Fake, fake, fake.
For months, we have been going through Ilhan Omar's financial disclosures ever since Nick Shirley sort of exposed the entire fraud ecosystem of Ilhan and her friends in Minneapolis. And what we found was shocking, that Ilhan Omar owns a fake winery, and she says it's worth $5 million. It's completely insane. We checked it out, and we went viral for checking it out. Of course, there's no phone line, no physical winery, no social media, and barely functional website, no wine being made here at all. Yet on Ilhan Omar's financial disclosures, as you can see right here, she claims this winery is worth $5 million, even though it's a ghost winery. Of course, that would mean that Ilhan Omar perhaps has $5 million worth of net worth from something else, maybe fraud. I don't know.
Isn't it a shame that you have to dance around this and you know damn well what's going on because you're not an idiot? And there are people in your orbit who literally have no idea what's going on. And they're like, no, that would never happen. And you're like, gosh, I wish there was that frying pan moment where all of a sudden it was like, now I understand. There's a reason she put down $30 million, right? Because she got all those kickbacks. Because she ran interference for that. She's the one who proposed the Feeding Our Future scam in Congress. She's the one who greased the skids. She was out there, tending to the ice. She was there.
Yeah, 10% for the big girl.
There you go. And 10%, 30 mil. And then all of a sudden, no. Sham Winery was dissolved 9 days. 9 days after citizen journalists like Benny Johnson dig into her stuff. 9 days after her financial disclosure indicated she was suddenly worth up to $30 million. Oh, that's all a mistake. You guys, the winery was valued in 2023 on her financial disclosure at $15,000. That's like you having a bush in the backyard and going to the grocery store and putting some grapes on your hand and squeezing it over the branches and being like, there you go. There's your wine. Then all of a sudden the next year, that little measly operation, right, with like Charlie Brown's Christmas tree as the vine, is now worth $5 million. What an amazing thing she's done. These people are entrepreneurs extraordinaire.
Who says money doesn't grow on trees?
Wow, I opened the door for that. Then there's a Lindell TV reported. Some of these girls they're women. I don't mean to demean anybody, but they're just so damn young. But they are so good. And this young lady, she gets Ilhan Omar in the hallway and she's like, how did your net worth explode so suddenly? We who make paltry peanuts for money would love to know your inside deal. Listen to what Ilhan says.
Hi, Congresswoman Omar. You were just talking about how Trump's economy has failed the American people, but I think the American people really want to know how you went from a negative 65,000 before coming into Congress to over $30 million in just 7 years.
My disclosure is public now.
Yeah, it is. And so a lot of people now are looking into that and finding S. Crew Winery, a winery that doesn't actually seem to exist. Is that a real winery, or?
Do you all actually look at and read things, or do you just ask silly questions?
Well, it's listed in the financial disclosure, so can you explain it? Because we have a lot of questions about it, and things just aren't adding up. There's no real phone number. There's no real location.
Why did you want to buy some wine?
Probably not from you, to be honest. Recently stated that the American people should be afraid of the white man. They should be fearful of the white man.
I never said that.
Yeah, you're on video saying it.
I don't want to hear that. I don't care about whatever racist mumbo jumbo that Ilhan Omar is spewing. But did you hear her smugly say, the congresswoman who's clearly got no winery, no vines, no grapes, no bottles, no website, no receipts, no storefront, no nada. You want to buy some wine? She says it's on my public disclosure. That's not an answer. Do you read? I do, actually, which is why it's so odd that all of a sudden your net worth has crashed again. What's going on? You're like a freaking yo-yo. Now, a Lindell reporter, another one, as Ilhan Omar's husband now is being sued by former investors in this fake winery for fraud. Like, you got to ask yourself, why is this chick, Ilhan, why is she still in Congress? Why is she still in America? Like, where's Todd Blanche on this? Here's another reporter catching up with Hakeem Jeffries. She asks him specifically about Ilhan Omar. You mean to tell me that the House Minority Leader has no knowledge of this? Sort of like Ruben Gallego had no idea that Eric Swalwell was reporting roofing and banging women, raping women while they were unconscious. Is that how this goes? Here's Hakeem Jeffries.
Hi, Leader Jeffries. Good to see you. Just curious to get your thoughts on Ilhan Omar's financial disclosure. Does all of the scrutiny around that concern you at all, and does that warrant an official House ethics investigation?
That issue has not been brought to my attention, but we do know that Ilhan Omar, who works hard on behalf of the people that she represents in Minnesota, is constantly under attack by right-wing conspiracy theorists.
Well, what about her net worth going from 30 million to now under 100,000? Do you believe that's truly an accounting error, as she alluded to?
It's not an issue that I'm familiar with.
What about her winery that she is now dissolving from her financial disclosure?
We're working to stop this reckless war of choice in the Middle East, get the economy back on track, win this gerrymandering war that Donald Trump started that we're going to finish. It's not an issue that I've been locked in on up to date.
No, I've not been locked in on that. Do you think you should be, Hakeem? Do you think the head of the Democratic Party in the House of freaking Representatives should know if he's got members of Congress who are stealing from the people, Hakeem? That's what you get, ladies and gentlemen, when you get suck. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, the secret is keeping us silent, ladies and gentlemen. The 7 steps of propaganda and the voices and faces you'll recognize, spreading it next. I got a little heated there. It's not something I'm really well aware of. Well, how about your financial disclosure, you dirtbag? Mark Wayne Mullen, I love it. I remember when my father-in-law was like, Wendy Bear, it's not nice to call people scumbags. And I'm like, well, I'm talking about Tony Fauci, Dr. Death. He's a scumbag. And he's like, well, you shouldn't say things like that. And I'm like, really? So now Mark Wayne Mullen, he's like, that guy is a scumbag. He's talking about Chuck Schumer, of course. All right, who do we want to talk about? Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. If there was something I could give everybody that I think everybody in the world could benefit from, one would be ivermectin. I would say we should all take an ivermectin tablet a day. I have no medical knowledge, so Don't take my word for it, but I think it would help us. And number 2, I would say always take bloodflow7.com/Wendy. If you're a guy, then get the Alpha Gold male formula because your testosterone is different than my estrogen. Your testosterone needs a special kind of love. A special kind of, if you've got the dad bod, you got squishy pecs, right? Maybe you got a gut that's a little bigger than you want it to be, and you just don't have stamina. You're dragging out. You're like, ugh, and you've got no mood for it. Alpha Gold Male, alphagoldmale.com. You want mood. I'm going to put you in the mood. You're going to want to go hiking. You're going to want to go play pickleball. You want to play tennis. You're going to want to go for a long walk. You're going to want to do stuff because you will have more blood flow pumping through your body. And it absolutely makes a difference in everything I do. Everything I do. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. Everything in the store for us is 30% off. They love you so much. They want to use one of our commercials on their site because of you guys. That's pretty significant. That's huge. And I love you for that. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy.
And because someone asked in the chat, we don't get credit for any sales that if something is that we promote is sold on Amazon.
Yeah, we get no credit.
We get no credit for that. So I mean, you do you would never know, but yeah, if you're asking, that's why our friend from Sniper decided to take on Amazon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, didn't want to lose it to that. Let's see how you guys are doing. I have not been browbeating, which is unfortunate. 1.58. We can get to 2. 420 people. Pshaw. That's easy, right? That's the thumbs up button right there. Look at killing the internet. 163 people. I'm so glad you're here if you are on X. Thank you for taking time out today. Love, love, love you. Love, love, love you. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. Brock, do you know what song that is?
Let's play that funky music. Wait,
that's exactly what it is. Michael, I hope you're up paying attention. He was absolutely traumatized by it because he couldn't figure out what it was yesterday, and I couldn't hear
Really?
it. Yeah, I couldn't put my finger on it.
And you didn't text me?
I think he was supposed to. I was making dinner. So yeah, he was supposed to do that, but he didn't. Okay, then thank you very much for that clarification. All right. You know, I love these anonymous videos, these deep fake quotes on X videos. And I love the the educational value of it because we talked about this yesterday. You realize that when all the people, whether they be on the mainstream media or they be among your favorite podcasters or what have you, when you start hearing the same stuff, and then you also hear that they're not talking about other things, you got to be suspicious. That's got to be on us. We have to take ownership for that. That's what I meant when I said to you on January 6th of 2021, it was strange as strange could be. Because I remember coming home and flipping on the TV and flipping through the channels, and all of the news people were saying the same thing. The anchors, the talking heads, or the reporters on the scene were all aghast at this insurrection. And I was like, that's a very odd word. It's an odd word that doesn't get kicked around a lot. And yet everybody is saying the same thing. So who gave them the talking points? What is it worth to be bought so that you will say the talking points, right? And are Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, are all of them now co-opted because they all turned on Trump and had the same talking points? Here are the 7 steps of propaganda from our friend at Anonymous. Listen.
In 1937, a group called the Institute for Propaganda Analysis published a simple warning for the public. They called it the 7 Propaganda Techniques. Not conspiracy theory, not speculation, a documented playbook. Here they are. First, name calling. Attach a negative label to an opponent so people reject them without examining the argument. Second, Glittering generalities. Use inspiring words like freedom, justice, or patriotism without explaining what they exactly mean. Third, transfer. Attach your message to something people already respect. A flag, a symbol, a tradition. Fourth, testimonial. Use a famous person to endorse an idea, even if they know nothing about it. Fifth, plain folks. Present yourself as an ordinary person, just like the audience, even if you are not. 6. Card stacking. Show only the facts that support your side, while quietly leaving out everything else. And 7th, bandwagon. Tell people that everyone believes something, so they feel pressure to believe it too. 7 techniques, published nearly 90 years ago, designed to help ordinary citizens recognize when someone is trying to shape their thinking. Today, the technology looks different. The messages arrive through television, phones, algorithms, and influencers. But with techniques, they haven't changed at all. So the next time you hear a confident voice telling you what to believe, pause. Ask yourself a simple question. Are you hearing information, or are you hearing the playbook? My friends, we are all anonymous, and question every narrative, especially the ones designed to make you feel something before you think.
Isn't that a good one? So much of that is understood. The 7 steps. The first one, name calling. This is like MAGA extremists. Then the glittering generalities. Oh, they're threats to democracy. All of these things that he talked about are 100% the things that you hear. The people who were demonized during COVID, who didn't wear their masks, even though we all knew that that was stupid. We all knew that there was no way a stupid piece of cloth made in China where the virus came from, right, was going to protect us. And we looked at people almost waiting for the punchline, and they were serious. And you're like, wow, you have fallen for it. You've fallen for all the signs. You've fallen for all of the fear tactics. You've fallen for all of the stickers on the floor at Walmart that encourage you, urge you, don't get within 6 feet of each other or else. And I know each of you had an experience out there with somebody who hissed at you as though you were the devil himself and recoiled from your unmasked, unclean selves. And you're like, wow. It's truly amazing how many people fall for the propaganda, ladies and gentlemen. Rejoice. You are not among them. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about the curious case of the soldier who cashed in on Nicolas Maduro. If we've got people in Congress who are allowed to make God knows how much money, i.e. Ilhan Omar, whether it be through scandal, fraud, or insider trading, why is it against the rules for a guy in the military who's tipped off about something he's going to participate in, i.e. overthrowing Maduro, making a bet on it and then cashing in on the bet? Why would you throw the book at the guy, the army guy, the soldier, when you let the Congress member continue to pad their own pockets? Let's talk about for thee, but not for me, my friends. Another glaring example next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I need to bring in next week. I'm going to bring in some gold. I like to hold gold. Gold feels good. Gold can feel cold, but never old. It's bold.
Are you Dr. Seuss?
I don't know. It's Friday. What the hell? It's great to be with you guys. Hey, I love it. Let's see how you're doing on the Rumbles. Up to 1.71. This is fantastic. Thank you so much. We need 290 to get to our benchmark. I want to ask you guys a question. Let's see. Let me ask you this. Now, I do not watch Tucker Carlson. I do not watch Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, or Alex Jones. I've heard all of them in snippets, but nothing, I would say, nothing longer than a couple minutes. Literally, I just don't listen. Similarly, I've never listened to Dan Bongino. I just don't. I don't want to be co-opted by other people's thoughts, right? Not like it's a bad thing, but I want to have my own thoughts. So I don't listen. Do you think that them all coming out at the same time and kind of piling on President Trump and claiming something so absurd that anybody with moderate mental acuity could diagnose. He was saying that an entire civilization will be wiped out. It's a threat to the Iranian leaders. He's not threatening to nuke the Iranian people, right? And anybody with even a remotely honest brain cell would know that and wouldn't go on live television or live podcasts and submit otherwise. And then Tucker Carlson doubles down on it. And he says, I apologize to everybody out there for encouraging you to vote for Trump. I don't know what happened to them. Somebody got to them. Somebody got to them, not to the same degree that the missing scientists and dead scientists have been gotten to, but kind of like the same idea. Somebody reaches out with an offer they can't refuse. I can't see Alex Jones going and saying that unless somebody got to him. I don't know. Do you think these people come back to the degree to which they had fame before? Or do you believe that they have irrevocably damaged the reputations? I personally will never pay attention to any of them again. I'm not even remotely interested in what any of them says. And I would be hard-pressed to play any of their audio on this program. I don't believe they deserve the oxygen. But I might be aggressively protective of what I could see as a very basic truth that he put out. Like, look, it's going to come down to this. So, F-A-F-O. So, I don't know. I don't know what you guys think, but I love you. Texas Bullion Exchange, wendylovesgold.com, wendylovesgold.com. It's easier than spelling bullion, to be honest with you. That's the only reason why we did that. And you get 6% in free silver, which is pretty amazing, on these qualifying principal protection program portfolios. And so you go to, let's say you have $10,000 and you call Wendy Loves Gold at 855-927-5557. And you say, I have $10,000. I'm not sure what to do with it. What could I do with this? Well, when you get a principal protected program portfolio, which means you never will sell back your metals for less than you bought them for, they'll throw in extra silver. They did it on mine too, which is lovely. It's like, here, have some more, 6% more. And you're like, thank you. And so I literally have sleeves of silver coins. It's wonderful. And who does that but a company that wants your business and wants to keep your business and wants to have your business for life? So that's wendylovesgold.com. That's why I love them. They are true to me, and I will forever be true to them. wendylovesgold.com. Just saying.
I'm skeptical of anyone who flips completely. I mean,
on a dime.
Completely.
Yeah. It was like in one day, all of a sudden, they were all outraged by the same thing that never even struck me as not offensive, but like I wasn't like, oh, did you see what President Trump wrote? I was like, yeah, I mean, yeah, he's got to say that. He's at war. Aren't we at war with these people? You're not going to be like, well, we're going to come after breakfast about 10:30.
I never understood the outrage about the tweet or truth that had a meme of him looking in a red robe,
looking like a pope or something,
or portrayed as Jesus healing. I'm like, okay,
whatever.
AI, you can make all kinds of things, but
it's funny.
Why do you why would that set you off?
It's so easy to trigger these people. That's the part that's so interesting to me.
Candace Owens lost me with all the
Israel stuff.
No, it started with the Macron's wife being a man.
Yeah,
like
weird.
I really don't.
I don't really care. I don't care if Big Mike is a dude. I don't care if that Big Mike is a dude.
You know, and now she's all about the conspiracy about Charlie Kirk's death, and it's just like, okay, you know, like I don't understand the obsession with it.
Yeah, I don't see
and
the
Erica
benefit.
Kirk, like, let things come out.
Well, then you had the pissing match that she had, that Candace had with what's his face, Ben Shapiro, and that was Jew related, I think.
Yes, that
you know, because that's his prism. Ben
Correct.
Shapiro sees the world through a yarmulke, which is your prerogative, but you also have to back it out a bit.
He's had problems with a lot of people,
Didn't he have
like the
Barstool?
way
Didn't
they
he have
write
Dave Portnoy or something like that?
Steven Crowder
Steven
and
Crowder.
him, like the way it's the way he runs his business more than anything else. He's sort of like the Fox and the CNN. You have your narrative, you have what you're pushing, and if you don't agree with that, but it is his business. So I stopped following the Daily Wire.
Yeah. I think you still have a sub because I can still hop in. Are you still paying for it?
I don't think so.
I think so.
Okay, then it's gone till I paid for a year, so it's probably up in October. So
how many times have you tried to get off of a unsubscribe or report as spam, something that keeps coming to you every single day?
Yeah.
Every single day. I'm like,
do not call
it
list.
either freaking works or it doesn't work. If it doesn't work, take it off my damn phone or take it off my computer. You report as spam. Well, if I do that, you're still not going to.
Same with text.
Oh.
If
I'm fussy today.
I get more, we'll buy your house. No
we'll
questions
buy any
asked.
car.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, but I'm not selling it. So spam.
Yeah.
Next day, we'll buy your house. I know, I heard you yesterday.
You're so much nicer than I am.
I just reported as spam. Whatever. They ain't looking out for me.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell. Inspiring solutions to save America one show at a time. Are you ready to get on board?
They believe that they can destroy this bond that exists between you and Trump if they somehow make Trump look bad, make Trump look like a reprobate, embarrass you about Trump. They can't do it because you came before Trump. Desperately want Trump gone, and I know that they desperately want it codified, that Trump cannot run again, because make no mistake, they remain scared to death of you, and they remain scared to death of Trump. Make America great again.
From sea to shining sea, 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. The Wendy Bell Radio Program.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell Radio Program is live. You know, I hope that if this president does one thing in the next several years, and hopefully sooner rather than later, I hope that we can get a tax code that is manageable. I hope we can get a system of paying taxes, ensuring our taxes go to things that we actually give a crap about, and getting rid of the 15,000 various regulations and codes and all of this. It's mind-bending, and it's mind-bending on purpose. It's the same rationale that the Biden crime family syndicate used, right? We're going to bring in $30 million. Now, obviously, if I get a check as Joe Biden for $10 million, I'm going to have to flag that. It's going to send out alarms. But if we break it down into all of these smaller pieces, then we can have all these things going on deposited. Nobody will be able to connect the dots. It'll be so convoluted and complicated that an investigator would be like, this is ridiculous. I'm not even going to look at it. We'll fly under the radar. Well, about that, right? As a small business owner, I will say the biggest scourge of my professional life and growth and having employees and needing to have insurance. And then there's this, this plan and there's that. It's always about how do I reduce how much money I have so that I don't have to give it to the government. So I don't have to give it to dirtbags who are stealing it from me under the guise of doing something good. It's always some stupid, dumb name that they're going to do. Oh, it's the Inflation Reduction Act. And you're like, really? This is the bend over and grab your ankles act. And we all know that. So if we can agree that taxes are the biggest joke, they're a nightmare, they're punitive to the actual worker bees of this country, of which you and I are, then maybe we could also agree that the fat cats in Congress ought not be sitting back, counting their millions, insider trading, while waving the magic wand at us. It's not a situation, ladies and gentlemen, that works for me, but not for thee. I don't have to follow these rules, but you do. It reminds me of playing games with my sister Janet when I was growing up in the 1970s. She was a liberal way back then. She made up rules as we went along. She was older, and so when we played games, she changed them always to benefit her, always to my detriment, until one day I walked away and never played again. Honest to God. This situation going on with this army guy. Did you guys hear about this story? This is the story of an army soldier who made himself almost $500,000 by basically betting on his inside knowledge of Nicolas Maduro's capture. And he cashed in on it at the end, $400,000. And now people in the House of Representatives are like, that's outrageous. He should go to jail. Well, if he goes to jail, Nancy Pelosi should get her butt now there, right? So what is it? Do we have one system of rules? Or are the rules meant to keep you in line, to keep you shut up, to keep you worried, to keep you not saying the things that I don't want you talking about, right? While they can do whatever the hell they want. Yes. And the one voice, again, who's coming forward and speaking about it is Representative Anna Paulina Luna, a congresswoman from Florida. She's demanding a full pardon for this guy, a U.S. Special Forces hero, who's now being prosecuted by the DOJ for insider trading on the Maduro raid. She's calling it skewed justice, while Congress members illegally profit every single day. Do you think that a country that has 9% of our population, something like 8 to 9%, are millionaires, but in the Senate, it's 77%? It's kind of weird, isn't it? It's so weird. Let's read this. Get you filled in. Representative Anna Paulina Luna is demanding a full pardon for a U.S. Special Forces soldier now facing decades in prison after allegedly profiting from classified information tied to the takedown of Venezuelan strongman Nicolas Maduro. The soldier, identified as Ken Van Dyke, was indicted by the Department of Justice Thursday. According to the DOJ, Van Dyke, who's an active duty Army soldier stationed at Fort Bragg, participated in the planning and the execution of a covert mission dubbed Operation Absolute Resolve, which resulted in the capture of Maduro earlier this year. Prosecutors allege that Van Dyke used his access to classified intelligence, that's so freaking rich, to place wagers on the prediction platform Polymarket, ultimately netting approximately $409,000 in profits. According to the DOJ, this is what they said. As alleged, on or about December 26th of last year, Van Dyke created a Polymarket account, funded it, and began trading on Maduro and Venezuela-related markets. In total, Van Dyke made approximately 13 bets from December 27th through the evening of January 2nd of this year. Those bets all took the yes position on U.S. forces in Venezuela by January 31, 2026. Maduro out by January 31, 2026. Will the U.S. invade Venezuela by January 31st? Or Trump invokes War Powers Act against Venezuela by January 31st? Van Dyke bet on all of that. Yes, yesity, yes, yes, and yes. And he voted a total of approximately $33,000 on those outcomes while in possession of classified non-public information about Operation Absolute Resolve. In the pre-dawn hours of January 3rd of this year, U.S. Special Forces apprehended Maduro and his wife at a residence in Caracas, Venezuela. And then hours later, the President of the United States announced the successful operation. Following the president's public announcement, Polymarket resolved several Maduro and Venezuela-related contracts to yes, including the market's Maduro out by January 31st, 2026, and these two others. As a result, Van Dyke won his wagers on those contracts, and in total, he allegedly profited approximately $409,881. Now, you and I are supposed to sit back and clutch our pearls and be like, that's just terrible. Or is he using the exact same system that you and I are not supposed to talk about, that you and I are not supposed to know about, that the mainstream media would never cover because they think if they don't tell you about it, it doesn't exist, right? Like you're putting on Harry Potter's invisibility cloak. What? Nobody can see. Van Dyke, 38 years old, of Fayetteville, North Carolina, is charged with 3 counts of violating the Commodity Exchange Act, each of which carries a maximum sentence of 10 years in prison. 1 count of wire fraud, which carries a max of 20 years, and 1 count of an unlawful monetary transaction, which carries a max of 10 years in prison. Well, enter Anna Paulina Luna, who is not buying the selective outrage for a second. And she fired off a powerful statement on X. Maybe not a popular take, she writes, but I'm calling for this guy to be pardoned. Unless the DOJ plans on going after all the crooks in Congress currently insider trading, this is simply skewed justice. This gal's got more huevos than freaking John Thune. There is no justice when guys like this get the book thrown out or at them, yet members are illegally profiting every day. I don't agree with what he did, and he should be required to disgorge all profits. However, never heard of disgorge in that regard, but okay. Unless the DOJ plans on doing Congress next, this is not justice. Who disagrees with that? I don't want to get behind some guy who's scheming to make money, but he sure brings up a great point, doesn't he? Right? Sort of like the January 6ers brought up a great point that even if you go somewhere, even if you go peacefully and patriotically, that you can be twisted and made into a scapegoat smokescreen of suck to shield for a stolen election, while George Floyd could be the false flag reason why we let people destroy property to the tune of $2 billion during that whole summer of love. Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's not supposed to make sense. It's the complete convolution of reality. These are all of these communist objectives that were read into the congressional record, 60 years ago? I mean, chipping away one at a time, one at a time. It's not just socialism. It's full on out crazy. And this is the fight. So way to go, Anna Paulina Luna. I wish this guy didn't do it, but now we have to have a conversation. And now everybody has to pay attention. And this is exactly what this president is doing. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, for the true skeptics, you better get yourself up to speed on these UFOs, all right? I'm just going to tell you. The interview that should have awakened everyone because it woke up Maria Bartiromo. Oh boy, next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
You notice nobody in the Congress said anything about him doing that, except her.
What did Matt Gaetz say? He's like, I haven't taken a penny in PAC money. I find it so interesting that they had all of this stuff on him with underage people, sexual deviance and human trafficking and whatnot. If there was demonstrable proof of that and not just smears, wrap-up smears about that, it's like the same thing with Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. It would be front and center. They would have carved that dude out of the political universe years ago. And so they continue to sully him, and he's not been found guilty of anything. And you've got Kevin McCarthy, who's continuing to punch down.
Well,
because Matt Gaetz destroyed his job, cost him his gavel.
Here's what blows my mind about the guy you just talked about. Look how quickly they moved with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
But with
lickety
other
split,
things,
look, we're already on this.
It'll take 24 months for us to gather all the facts. 24 months? What in the F are you doing? Who does their job? Does anybody do their job?
Whatever money that guy had won in 24 months would be gone just
from the investigation.
yes.
It's preposterous. You
Yeah,
know what's
but
not?
They so quickly went after him, but Omar and Tim Walz, we have all these paperwork. So we're told they can't make it stick.
If you want to save money, and who doesn't want to save money? I love saving money. I would want to have the best health insurance plan I could have for the least amount of money. Did you know that you could save between 30 and 60% on what you're currently paying right now by getting in touch with Health Revolution? So Health Revolution is this idea that you get to pick the coverage that you need, that you want. You get to go to the doctors that you choose. You don't have to pay copays. You have deductibles that are manageable. There's no weird open enrollment period that you got to hurry up and get all your ducks in a row and sign it all now. You can do it now under the age of 65. If you are, this is for you. If you're self-employed, this is for you. If you're pissed with your Affordable Care Act plan of suck that didn't do anything they promised you it would, this is for you. If you're on Cobra, this is for you. info.healthrevolution.net. info.healthrevolution.net. Why pay for things you don't need? Finally, coverage that works the way you expect it to, right? Not like Congress. info.healthrevolution.net. 800-868-6187. Special. I love them. I love Tom Yakupin. He's just a straight shooter. He's a good man. He wants to help people. He's like my dad, wants to help people. At some point in your life, money isn't it anymore. It's about doing something that actually matters. That's what Tom Yakupin is doing. info.healthrevolution.net.
I went down some rabbit holes this morning.
Oh, really?
I was sending you stuff on people talking about aliens, and one guy said there's over 1 trillion life forms. One guy's completely different guy said that they've communicated with them, with aliens, other life forms.
Aren't they looking for a soul or something like that?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Isn't that what they say? Our friend told us that. Maybe that's where I'm getting that from. I have no knowledge.
Yeah.
I know nothing. I'm open to everything. I'm open to everything. I'm like somebody who's been newly diagnosed with some weird disease, and the doctors are like, and Dr. House walks in, and he's like, well, here's what we're going to do. You're going to start taking, angel dust, and we're going to sprinkle in some paprika, and that'll be like whatever, right? I would be open to anything. Let's go. Like Scott Adams. He's like, yes, try it, please. I think about him so commonly. I so enjoyed him. I so rooted for him.
He called out the Southern poverty people years ago.
Yeah. Freaking grift douchebags. She's such a pretty girl, that Shannon Bream. Oh, here we go. They're talking about it right now.
What?
The soldier.
And they'll be outraged. They want you to be outraged and not think about Congress.
Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. The U.S. government has collected information on UFOs, which they now are calling UAPs, these unidentified aerial phenomena, since 1947. This is not new. This is not some weird realm of a totally wild, off-the-charts conspiracy theory stuff. And there is information in the National Archives that I've personally seen that dates back earlier, 20, 30 years before that. Sightings surged after Kenneth Arnold's June 1947 report of 9 objects near Mount Rainier, Washington. Coining the term flying saucers, the Air Force began gathering 147 reports that year alone at Wright Field in Ohio, leading to formal study orders by December of 1947. And there are all these other programs that have been launched. Operation Blue Book. There's all sorts of things that we can go back and demonstrably learn about. I'm just asking you to open up your mind and to consider that anything is possible. Anything is possible. Do I think that we're alone here? No, I don't. But this is the point where Maria Bartiromo over on Fox News, she's got then former director of national intelligence for President Trump, John Ratcliffe. He's out of office at this point. He's talking to her about what he knew as the director of national intelligence about UFOs. This is where she waits. This is, I mean, she's like, what? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, you guys, an American researcher dies in a plane crash. Do you care about that? Yes, next. I was looking at the clock and I'm sorry, I went long on that, but I forgot what time. I thought we had to get out earlier than we did. I'll be right back, you guys.
I don't know if you guys saw, if you haven't been on X, or if you're not on X, it's where I saw it. I'm sure it's on other sites also. The tornado that went through, I believe it was Oklahoma. That thing was huge. And it had, I saw one that had a tornado and then had like little tornadoes coming off of it. It was nuts. There will be a pet show tomorrow. I don't know about Sunday. That's up to the boss. But there will be a pet show tomorrow. Yeah, Enid, Oklahoma. That was just crazy. It was huge. I don't even know how else to explain it. It was huge. I was telling them there will be a pet show tomorrow. They were asking about weekend shows. I said I didn't know what you had going on. I know people were in town and
Yeah, I'm not so sure we're going to pull that off this weekend. I'm sorry. You guys, I forgot to tell you that clip of Maria Bartiromo, that was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
That was 5 years ago, right? So it's not like we haven't spoken about this stuff, but now all of a sudden, the media is desperate to memory hole this stuff and to get us to talk about anything else, which is very interesting to me. Ghost bed. Let me tell you finally about ghost bed. I want you to have a serious conversation with yourself. When was the last time you replaced your mattress? It's one of those things that's expensive enough that you can kick the can down the road for a while. And then you realize that you wake up and your back feels terrible. You've got pressure points that are being hit. You toss, you turn, you get hot, you get cold. It's not working for you. After a period of time, your mattress gives up. If you're in that position, I want to talk to you about Ghost Bed. Ghostbed.com/Wendy. There's an extra discount on there right now, and they're having a spring sale. And they have all sorts of different kinds of beds, different kinds of models. If you like them firm, if you like them soft, if you like kind of a middle, a hybrid, various sizes, various materials. They make them for campers, right? All this stuff, RVs and campers. Ghostbed.com/Wendy. We have one at our house. It is a luxurious night's sleep, and they'll give you 101 nights to sleep on it and decide that you love it and you don't want to live without it. That's their deal. I think it's a great deal. And I've told you the guy who is behind the company, who started it, had surgeries because he got hurt and his neck and his back are jacked. And so he didn't want to just create a system of sleep. He wanted to create a wellness system, a health system. That's what it is. Ghostbed.com/Wendy. Use my name and get that discount.
tell me you
Extra
wouldn't
10.
kill for one of those when you went to college.
Oh my gosh.
Where the mattress they gave you was like a prison mattress where I went.
Yeah. And it's crackly.
Yeah.
You can put whatever you want on it. It's crackly. But if you weigh more than 4 pounds, you already down to the right. You break down through it. Yeah.
Springs? Have one of those shipped right to the dorm, open it up.
I would absolutely check out the products at ghostbed.com. And I'm not thinking it's a bad idea if you do have somebody in college. They have a lot of things there. My kids love sleeping, particularly on their summer jobs when they sleep on cots, like seriously, college dorm beds all summer at summer camp. They put those, things, fluffy, covers
the
on
egg
top.
carton things.
Yeah, they love the egg carton. I never liked egg carton. It's a weird feel.
Once you sleep in a real bed, sleeping on anything else is tough.
That's why if you sleep in hotels, it's hard to get a good night's sleep in a hotel, especially if you're in a canoe.
In a canoe?
Yeah, you're both like, we're here. You're like this the whole
Someone
night
says
long.
that Ray in 1969 says great pillows too. I might have to check that out. I didn't know.
Pillows. Yeah. I haven't.
I need a pillow.
Maybe I'll browbeat.
Mine's
them
like
and be
this thin, and I fold it over. And
are you a holder of it? Do you hold
I
it?
only have one pillow.
Oh, you don't sleep with more than one pillow?
I do, but I don't. I have a pillow and then I have this thin pillow. I don't know why. No, I don't.
Do you know what I have that's great? It's a My Pillow. It's a very small one. It's like this big. I don't use it at night, but when we travel, kids are like, in short with time there to tell you that Maria Bartiromo, John Radcliffe clip was 5 years ago. It was 2021. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. Where, well, back then they were saying, yes, we've seen thousands of reports of anomalous stuff flying around out there. People see it. Yeah. Well, let's have conversations because we need to. We need to have conversations about this stuff. And these disappearing scientists, those who've turned up dead or missing, I don't think you can just turn around and walk away from this. Media is not talking about it. Trying their hardest not to mainstream. We will. This is one of those stories. An aerospace engineer with ties to NASA dies with his family in a plane crash. Now, that could just be a tragic accident, right? Well, you're not going to know because it's going to take NTSB between 12 and 24 months to come up with a cause. 12 to 24 months? That's what it's going to take. And of course, nobody's going to remember this guy. He died with his wife, died with his kids, 2 adult sons who both, worked in the same field as he. Get out. Let's read about this briefly. A decorated veteran pilot, by the way, who was piloting the plane and never called for distress. Just crashed. Just crash. A decorated veteran pilot, aerospace engineer, and defense researcher was killed in a plane crash in South Carolina last week, raising questions about whether the incident is related to the deaths and the disappearances of 11 scientists tied to nuclear and space research. I count 14, but okay, this is Fox, whatever. James Tony Moffat, 60 years old, flying with his wife, Lisa, and their sons, Andrew, 30, and William, 28. When the plane crashed in a wooded area near the runway at Union County Airport in South Carolina on Friday, the Union County Coroner's Office said. The family from Huntsville, Alabama, lots of stuff going on in Huntsville, Alabama, was traveling from the Raleigh-Durham area of North Carolina to Huntsville, officials said. They had stopped in Union County, South Carolina to refuel. The Union County Sheriff's Office said the crash occurred about 6:30 p.m. Family was flying a Mooney M20 single-engine aircraft, and NTSB said. Authorities have not yet released a cause of the crash as the NTSB and Federal Aviation Administration investigate. Yeah, 12 to 24 months. You're not going to get an answer, right? Moffat is the latest scientist with ties to aerospace research and NASA to make headlines with the deaths and disappearances of 11 individuals with similar backgrounds raising concerns. His son, Andrew, was also an up-and-coming researcher at the time of his death. The 30-year-old was a research engineer and a scientist at the University of Alabama in Huntsville's Research and Engineering Support Center. The elder Moffat earned a master's degree in aerospace engineering, yada, yada. Following his 21-year military career, Moffat worked as a payload and flight crew support specialist at NASA's Johnson Space Center astronaut office, where he participated in 14 space shuttle construction missions. So he retired from the Army. He founded an aerospace consulting firm. He worked on the Army's Degraded Visual Environmental Mitigation Program and all this other stuff for unmanned aerial system technology demonstration. His experience draws parallels with several of the scientists who've either died or have been reported missing since 2022. Michael David Hicks, Frank Mywald, Nuno Loureiro, Jason Thomas, Amy Eskridge, Carl Grillmare, all died between 2022 and 2026. Monica Reza, Melissa Casillas, Anthony Chavez, Steve Garcia, and retired Air Force Major General William Neal McCaslin were all reported missing from 2023 to 2026. Both Reza and Eskridge shared similarities with Moffett relating to their NASA-based research, with Reza disappearing when she was the director of materials processing at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Additionally, several of the scientists worked within defense labs, mirroring Moffat's experience as the founder of aerospace consulting firm Moffett Systems Incorporated. And his two sons were also ingrained in similar scientific fields at the time of their death. He was a research engineer, scientist, right? I'm sure it's just a coincidence. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But I think it's odd that a veteran pilot who's behind the joystick or whatever in the cockpit of his plane, transporting his family, should crash. No mayday, no call for help, no distress, no, oh my gosh, OnStar, I have a problem. Nothing. And then, bye-bye. Okay. I don't know anything. NTSB preliminary findings, no distress calls, no mechanical failure. I don't know if they've been mechanical failure. We'll see. So then, as we're thinking about this, Chris Cuomo is dipping his toe into the UFO realm, and he's got this guy, Luis Elizondo, on. And this guy, a ufologist, and Chris Cuomo has him on News Nation on his program last night. And he's like, what's happening to these scientists? What's happening on all these people working on space-related programs? Is this beyond suspicious? And he said, yes, in fact, the one tie that kind of binds all these suspicious disappearances or deaths together is the topic of UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena. Here is UFO insider Luis Elizondo.
Look, anytime you have experts in the national security arena either disappearing or in some cases dying prematurely and not necessarily a natural way, we have to look at this very closely. We can go back even to the 1940s during the Manhattan Project, when we knew Russia was trying to target a lot of our scientists and try to learn some of our atomic secrets. This is nothing new. What is new, though, is that we have these scientists, these engineers and senior military officials that are completely unaccounted for. Some of these individuals had very high security clearances, top secret SCI security clearances. Anytime that would happen in any other country, Russia, China, obviously would be a problem. This is happening here in the United States, and there are some very interesting common ties that at least some of these individuals have with one another, and that is the UAP topic, ironically enough.
That is the UAP topic. Now, I'm going to be a snarky former television news person, and I'm going to judge for a minute if you give me a second. Now, Chris Cuomo, it's okay to take a sip of something. He downs like half of a bottle of water as this guy is talking, and he's in a double box, right? So it's sort of like how you see us if you watch the video stream. If we play audio sometimes or video, Brock will pop me up and you can see me looking at it, reacting to it on the side. That's what's going on. There's video playing. There's a picture of Chris Cuomo paying attention and this guy talking, right? And he's almost like ambivalent. It's almost like, well, I'm just so tired, so thirsty, and he's like glug 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 with his water bottle. I'm like, you still are a doubter. You're not a believer. You don't and that's okay. Chris Cuomo, I think, thinks this is a lot of hooey. And this gentleman, Elizondo, Luis Elizondo, says, and you know what? I at least spoke with several. I've spoken with at least several of these dead or disappeared scientists. Yes, indeed. And he's like, in fact, I've spoken to two people who aren't on your list who should be part of it because they're dead or missing too. Listen.
In fact, several of the people that you have on your list right there that you showed, I personally spoke with years ago and talked to myself, and it was about the UAP topic and their work in that arena. But there's also, you said something, and it's absolutely accurate. There's other individuals that are not on that list that I am personally aware of that might actually be associated with it. There is an individual that somebody Chris Mellon, who's been on your show before, was going to talk to about 2.5-3 years ago. He was a few days away from meeting this individual. He was an engineer, apparently on the legacy U.S. government's legacy UAP effort. and mysteriously died right before the meeting. There's another individual whom I spoke with. He reached out to me. I'm going to protect his identity here for the sake of his family, but he did meet an untimely end. He was a senior special agent at the Department of Energy, and he worked specifically in the Inspector General's shop, the IG shop. He was the most senior special agent for the Department of Energy, and he was talking to me about coming out and talking to Congress about what he knows within DOE and the files, the UAP files that they're holding on to. He was very upset, and he felt like he was a whistleblower. So I was arranging for this individual to actually meet with certain members of Congress. His wife, who is a doctor for the Veterans Affairs, walks in one evening after work and finds him dead on the sofa.
Now, I mean, dead on the sofa, not knowing who this gentleman is, I can't confirm or deny that he didn't have a heart attack. I don't know. What he had terrible cholesterol, family history, blocked arteries. I don't know. Did he need a stent? Or was he 86th? We should ask James Comey. He doesn't know what that means. What? I just like seashells. And then finally, UFO insider Luis Elizondo says, look, we need to have an honest investigation into this. Wherever you are on the spectrum of belief, people ought not be disappearing. People ought not be dying. Here you go.
The FBI should do exactly what they said they're going to do. You have folks like Anna Polina Luna that are working very hard behind the scenes, also trying to, you just had her on your show, that's trying to get some additional clarity into this. There was another individual that Dave Bruce used to work with. His call sign was Quake. And he was going to go public and talk to Congress. And unfortunately, he was in Washington, D.C. at a hotel, and they found him dead as well. So I want to be careful not to scare people, say this is all about UFOs and the conspiracy that they're trying to keep people like us quiet. But I can tell you, as a matter of fact, I myself and other individuals whom I know, and Congress can tell you the same, have actually been threatened before. So it is about time that the government takes this very, very seriously, whether they're just missing, they want to take an extended vacation, or they're dead. We need answers, and we need them now.
We got to know.
Yeah. We got to know. And then he says he's been threatened. You know, I want granular data. I'm like, how? By whom? Did you get a phone call? Was there some shadowy figure outside your house? What happened? Was there a dead, rooster on your front step? What was it? How did they get in touch with you? What did they say? Isn't that germane? Yeah. Because Nick Shirley is getting those threats. And that's ridiculous. But this is being over the mark. That is what this is. It's a little scary. Absolutely scary. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, it's not just Americans, researchers and scientists who are dying or disappearing. Have you heard what's going on in China? Well, you will next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. And, I'm sure I'm being extraordinarily critical of Chris Cuomo because I think he's a douche. I think I don't like the human being. He's a flip-flopping faker in my mind. He made fun of COVID with his stupid clodhopper brother. I think they get to operate in circles that you and I aren't allowed to, and it's disgraceful. And the way they handled COVID, I'll never understand. Ever understand. It was literally like having the Acme frying pan, Roadrunner, and you ran right into it. That's how I feel that is. I have so much anger. I have so much anger that people have died because of that shot. Let me tell you about, who do I want to tell you about? That's the question. How about Healthy Cell? How about Healthy Cell? HealthyCell.com/Wendy. One of the smartest things you can do for yourself is buy yourself something. One of the formulations at HealthyCell.com. They come in a microgel pack, so it's It's like this. It's a little pouch. Gives you all the great information on it. This is the REM sleep one. This is what I took last night. You know, I will say this about REM sleep, and this is one of the things I love about Healthy Cell. The products in here, let me see what's in here. It's magnesium, calming herbs, amino acids, minerals, including melatonin, L-theanine, magnesium to help you fall asleep, stay asleep, and sleep deeply. Yes, that is what it is. And I will tell you, when my mind wakes up and I'm ready to go, irrespective of this, I'm up. The difference with REM sleep when I'm up is I'm clear. I've got clear focus. My eyes aren't always awake, but clear focus. And you could have slept for only 3 hours. And you're like, I can do this. I can do this. This is doable. Okay, you don't want to do it every day, not get enough sleep. But this is such a great protector. REM sleep, healthycell.com/Wendy. I love what they make. Focus and recall, off the grid. And read about the ones like the heart and vascular health. Read about how it's reducing people's blood pressure, keeping people's blood sugar in check. That's the sort of stuff that I think is exciting. healthycell.com/Wendy. So, Alan, 519 comments yesterday as of 2:40 in the morning. And 92 of you participated in the real or fake question. And we were talking about how many of you believe the moon landing was real or fake. If you didn't cast a vote, you have an opportunity to do so now here in the comment section. Real or fake? There were 92. 8 were undecided. I always am baffled by that. Really? 27 said real. Do they believe 100% that moon landing? That's what happened. Neil Armstrong, blah, 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 all that stuff. That's what we did. Yep. That's it. And then there are 57 who said fake. So 57, the fakes run away with it 2-1. I have a hair on me and I really need to get it off of me. Oh, there we go. Tell you what. I'd like to have a shaved head once in my life.
Just don't stand out in the sun too long.
But I know that my ears would stick out and I would look
blistered.
silly. You've been bald?
Yeah.
Really? Welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio program. So here's this article, which I think is interesting. It's not just happening here in America. There's this whole science and technology line of work is seemingly very dangerous. Right? We're all encouraging our kids, go into STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. Just don't go to NASA. And I don't want to say that, but gee whiz, what is happening? Endtimeheadlines.org. End Time Headline. That's the article I'm reading. This is the site. End Time Headlines. Seems so promising, doesn't it? Chinese scientists are also dying of mysterious deaths as well. Kind of a redundancy there, but that's okay. According to a report from Newsweek, Chinese researchers working in critical military and technological fields have suffered a series of untimely deaths, raising parallels to similar cases under investigation in the United States. At least 9 prominent scientists in sensitive areas, such as military AI, hypersonics, and space defense, have died in circumstances often described as accidents or left unexplained, prompting speculation about a possible silent scientist war. What? One case that has drawn particular scrutiny involves Feng Yang, a 38-year-old professor at China's National University of Defense Technology, and a leading figure in artificial intelligence for defense applications. 38-year-olds don't normally just die, right? People don't normally just drive off of the road into trees, right? People don't normally just fall out of the sky in a plane, right? Fang Hu developed the award-winning War Skull platform for simulating potential Taiwan invasion scenarios. Died in an unexplained car crash in Beijing in the early hours of July 1st, 2023, while leaving a late-night work meeting. State media reported he'd been engaged in a major task with one obituary on the science news site sciencenet.cn describing him as having sacrificed his life while performing official duties. That's odd. Odd thing to say. Questions linger over why the Gansu province native was buried in Beijing's elite cemetery reserved for Communist Party heroes and revolutionary martyrs. Hey, he was just sort of like a normal dude who just was really smart and did a lot of sciencey stuff. Oh, he's dead. And they bury him in this super elite noble cemetery for martyrs. Like, what? A person killed in a car crash would not typically be described as having sacrificed his life, and noted the burial choice in that particular cemetery was very odd. Other cases include space expert Zhang Huaxin. I don't know how to pronounce these Chinese names. I'm just going to tell you. A 62-year-old who died in a reported car accident in December of 24. A microelectronics specialist, a 57-year-old, killed in a 2018 crash. And hypersonics researchers 68 and 56 who succumbed to apparent medical issues. A drone expert who was 47, a data scientist who was 51, a chemist 51, and a biomedical researcher 49 also died under circumstances ranging from unspecified accidents to sudden illnesses with ages spanning 26 to 68. These are all Chinese scientists, researchers who've all been offed or died or had some weird coincidences happen. These incidents mirror U.S. concerns over 11 cases of missing or deceased scientists in comparable fields, which Washington is allegedly actively probing. No definitive links or evidence of targeted campaigns have been established, but the pattern has fueled debate among analysts and about potential efforts to disrupt technological progress in a fiercely competitive global landscape. I love that. I love that when they're like, there's no definitive link. Well, there's got to be some commonalities. Look, I've watched Castle enough. I've seen Beckett and Castle. I've watched them, Esposito and Ryan. I've watched them lay it out, right? It wouldn't be complicated for them to take all these people and put their own things up on the big white erase board and be like, what do they all have in common? I don't know. It's a total mystery. Well, I don't know. We don't know. Anyway, what's for lunch? This is what they're trying to tell you. Nothing to see here. Shh. You don't need to know that. Why do you need to know that? Well, you know what you need to know. There's something going on in this Generation Z, ladies and gentlemen. These Zoomers, these 18 to 29-year-old folks. The people who are younger than they as well. There's a lack of love, my friends. Young men are leaving the, I don't know, where would you meet a young, liberal, toxic, college-educated chick who wants to make your life miserable hell, right? Where would you go for that? Some No Kings rally? Well, the young Generation Z men are looking for love in some new places, and they're running right into the arms of cougars. I swear, I've got proof. And I will drop it on you. Do not miss this. It's actually very interesting. Cat ladies, pay attention next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
Cougars.
What would be a cougar? Like, how much older than your prospective partner would you have to be? Let me see. Because I'm sure Perplexity will know.
I would think like 10 years.
How old is a woman considered a cougar? That's a bad thing, but we'll see what it comes up with. Watch. The term cougar is slang for an older woman who pursues romantic or sexual relationships with significantly younger men with no strict universal age threshold, yet it's commonly applied to women aged 40 and up dating men at least 10 years younger.
That's what I said, 10 years.
Well, how about the man and the woman at our hairdressers?
Right.
She's like 77. Looks great.
Yes.
Like, you'd never be like, hey, old lady, she looks great. And he's like my age. He's like 55, 56. And I'm like, 20 odd years is a lot. That's pretty big. That's pretty big. And it works. I'm like, okay. Oh, there's something called a puma. A puma sometimes describes women 30 to 39 in similar dynamics. Ew, 30 to 39 going for what? 20-year-olds? Hey, get Native Path collagen. Get Native Path collagen peptides. Collagen peptides. I'm doing it. I'm doing it every day. I'm not even, it's part of my day. And 10 grams of collagen peptides. I'm just going to say the most abundant protein in your body. It's something that you need, something your body stops making, something that you lose over time. And that's why I think you see a lot of women, and I'll show you, like, it's right here on the outside of a lot of women's arms. You start seeing that creping of the skin. And I think it's somewhat irrespective of whether or not you have muscles.
Bless.
Excuse me. So I'm going to say that texturing collagen is going to help with that. I've been taking it like a fiend. Also great for the cartilage in your joints. Also good for your bone strength. Also good for your focus, your brain. Also good for your gut. Like, I don't know why we're not taking collagen every day. Well, we should. You're drinking water every day, so you should drink this every day. And it's literally, oh, shucks. Getting more collagen peptides, apparently. But it's really a benefit to you. And it's one of those things that builds up over time. And it's pennies on the dollar. GetNativePath.com/Wendy. GetNativePath.com/Wendy. Join us. Join us. You're going to love it. Up to 45% off. It's so affordable. And this could be a huge game changer for you. Just going to say. I really needed to go to the bathroom.
You got time.
4 minutes?
Yeah. We'll see how quick she is. I don't know, Cougar, 10 years? I think for the guy it would make a difference on how old he was. Older women seem to have their shizzle together. Or they're just done. Maybe this is a better way of putting it. Maybe the mentality of been there, done that, seen the circus, not buying a ticket again, like not playing the games, not caring what other people think. No, a woman who doesn't care what others think of them is attractive to most men. Just is. And you typically don't get that with younger women. Cougar. I just think older women are done with the charade, and younger men typically don't care what people think about them, and older women have that mentality of, listen, I've seen this crap before. What?
That
I was waxing poetically about cougars.
She doesn't wash her hands.
Who?
That woman down the hall from that weird spiritual place.
Oh.
Here's the worst part. She comes out of the stall next to me
and touches everything.
Goes like this on the paper, paper
to make it look good,
and yet never touched the faucet. She just grabbed the paper towel. I'm like,
what's the point? What are you drying off? Did you pee on your hands? If you peed on your hands, you should probably wash your hands.
I don't know, man. It's just like.
We've had this problem. I had this problem.
It's really distressing. It's like the least difficult thing to do in your life.
Like, you literally, it's the people who don't put the dishes in the dishwasher when the dishwasher's right there. The soap dispenser's right there. It's automatic. It's so you don't even do no work. You just put your hand under it. Zzz.
Okay, let's just say it's one thing at home. It's bad at home. It's freaking horrendous in public. Horrendous for that individual. But ew. And then she wanted to talk to me, and I'm like, no, I've never talked to you before. And I'm not
I don't
want to
talk to you. You're gross. Cleanliness is next to godliness as you walk into the spiritual place. Like
pee handler. Check my urine. I'm like,
tickle tickler.
What? What? What'd you just say? Tinkler, tickler.
By the way, I think you skipped a section.
Did I? Oh, I'm sorry. What?
Yeah, that you went right to 2:30.
Oh,
talking about the Cougars.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I did.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But now you got to stay for the Cougar talk.
I got it. Well, should I just keep going with what I normally have?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a tease.
No,
Like
that's
the
called a
Cougars
mistake.
tease
It's
younger
called a
men.
mistake. That's right.
They teased them. I got money.
Why? What? What are you talking about? Why would there be a tease?
Cougars, women with money.
4, 3, 2.
I'll buy you nice things.
1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family. She once hosted a 3-hour show in just 15 minutes. She once intimidated the Electoral College to audit itself. Her monologues are so sharp, they're considered a concealed carry weapon. Fact-checker sites routinely issue her a retraction a week in advance. Even her commercial breaks trend on social media. Her freedom of speech has diplomatic immunity. She doesn't just drain the swamp has to ask for cab fare. Wendy Bell is the most interesting conservative woman on radio. Keep rumbling, my friends. 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live. And I do have to admit I made a mistake. I'm sorry. We are going to be talking about Cougars. I knew you were going to do that. We're going to talk about that.
Ladies.
We're going to talk about that coming up in the next half hour. And it's actually a really cool story. Apparently, and I had to search AI exactly what cougar is. So, ladies, if you are over the age of 40, if you're 40 or older, and you're interested in making moves on a man who's at least a decade younger than you, congratulations. That's you. You be a cougar, but you could also be a puma, Brock. This is for women who are 30 to 39 who are also in the same kind of boat. I don't know. Would you date a 20-year-old?
Would I?
Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah. No. Well, you're on the AARP. I mean, you've got all white hair. You're old already. Jeez.
Wow.
We're going to talk about that in a minute. I want to talk about what it means as Americans when the head of the Democrat Party in one of the chambers of Congress, this is the Senate, I'm talking about Chuck Schumer, says that nobody respects Border Patrol or ICE agents. Nobody respects these people. It's scary to me when you have leaders of a political party who are willing to crap all over thousands of really hardworking Americans who have relatively a thankless job. And they've been pooed on so many times as like the yo-yo pawns, up and down, up and down. You're funded, you're not. You're a demon, you're not. Right? But what if we need you? Thank goodness you're here. But when you're not here, we can talk about you behind your back and make you sound like a demon. For Chuck Schumer to come out and say something terrible about Border Patrol and ICE agents, it's like Chuck Schumer coming out and saying he hopes America loses the war against Iran. There are just some things that are country over party. And at least there is one Democrat that we know of on Capitol Hill who believes that way, feels that way, and that's John Fetterman. John Fetterman feels like that. But I want to read this to you because he really got Mark Wayne Mullen fired up. And President Trump, I should say. Trump blasts Chuck Schumer for declaring that nobody respects Border Patrol or ICE. He must immediately apologize to these great patriots, Trump wrote, and I mean now. And you're going to hear a little bit of it. I find Chuck Schumer's act, his delivery of his prescribed lines, I find it old. I find him to be a poor actor. I don't believe he actually cares about anything. I don't believe he's invested in anything except his own political survival. And what I saw his performance as he said this on the floor of the Senate, it's his last gasp audition to the progressive wing of his party. That is so well beyond him. And he's saying, please, don't make me go home to that wife of mine. She's not very attractive. Brock, have you seen her? You've seen her?
Not a cougar.
That's just mean. Well, so be it. President Trump delivered a brutal takedown of Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer Thursday after the New York Democrat declared on the Senate floor that nobody respects U.S. Border Patrol agents and ICE officers. What a wholly un-American thing to say. What a wholly disgusting thing for Chuck Schumer to freaking say. Trump and Schumer's comments were some of the most egregious, incorrect, unpatriotic, and dangerous statements ever uttered by a sitting president or a sitting politician. Schumer made the vile remarks while criticizing a Republican-led funding blueprint that would provide billions more for ICE and Border Patrol operations. America is crying out for relief from high costs, and you're here adding $140 billion to an agency that two groups, he said, Border Patrol and ICE, that nobody respects in this country. I do. They shut our border down. Kidding me? Finally, we're given tools from this president to do their jobs, and they did it brilliantly, and they did it quickly. They put their lives every day on the line. They get doxxed. They have whack job progressives who young Gen Z men are trying to flee to try to dox them and, throw stuff at them and possibly even kill them. But they're hated. Got it. I want you to hear. This is Senator Mark Wayne Mullen. This is he's on Fox with Bill Maloogian yesterday. And Bill says, Mr. Secretary, of course, he's now DHS Secretary. Mr. Secretary, I want you to hear what Chuck Schumer said, and then your response on the flip side. Here's how it went.
Adding $140 billion to an agency that to two groups, Border Patrol and ICE, that nobody respects in this country.
Mr. Secretary, your response?
Well, it makes my ears red. It takes a lot to get me upset. But Chuck Schumer, no one respects you. The definition of a lying scumbag politician, that is you. You would be the definition if you Googled you right now. I mean, why don't he just come out and be honest with American people? He wants to have open borders. If you want to defund the Customs and Border Protection Agency, if you want to defund ICE, who is in there arresting the criminals that the laws were passed by you, you had time to change those during the Biden administration. You didn't, because you're for open borders and you're for the criminals running amok in our cities. And for you to say that is so disrespectful to the law enforcement that is out there protecting you, because he has a detail with him. How about he walks around these city streets without a detail? I wonder how safe he would feel.
Doesn't that just gall you? It galls me that there was something like $15 million spent on primo Queen Elizabeth security for that freaking Dr. Death, Fauci. $15 million. They treated this guy like he was the emperor of the world, right? And yet you've got the leader of the Democrat Party who's demeaning, disparaging, disrespecting the men and women who put their lives on the line every day for us. Trump went to town. He says, wow, crying Chuck Schumer just said for the whole world to hear that nobody respects Border Patrol or ICE. This is one of the most egregious, incorrect, unpatriotic, and dangerous statements I have ever heard from a, quote, professional politician. He must immediately apologize to these great traitors, and I mean now. Then, meantime, I think people just gloves are off in general. Gloves are off. I mean, Mark Wayne Mullen, he's like, look, he's an MMA guy. He's like, look, you're a scumbag, Chuck Schumer. Here's Greg Gutfeld. Okay, here is Greg Gutfeld over at Fox. He boils over regarding the Southern Poverty Law Center indictment and its fomenting of fake hate like Charlottesville, creating stories that don't exist, creating stories that cost a friend of ours, Charlie Kirk, his life. This is where he takes the glove off against Jessica Tarlov, and it's freaking brilliant.
You're saying this wasn't created. You're saying this just was an organic event, just like every left-wing event. It just happened. All these right-wingers showed up.
No,
Nobody else
can be
knew about it.
organized, but
And you know what?
the
Nobody
people are real.
Nobody.
The white
Okay.
supremacists are
You know what?
real who got the call to action.
Let me do the simplest analogy. This is like when somebody says, on average, men are taller and way more than women. And then one woman goes, but what about her? They point to a WNBA player. Yes, Jessica, I'll give you. There probably is a bigot somewhere, but you guys created a false flag that there was this immense movement going on in this country that then put targets on people like Charlie Kirk's back, and he's dead. And a lot of other people were either threatened, physically attacked because of a false flag, which painted an entire, basically, millions of people as white supremacists. You guys ran with it. Imagine if Trump had not won and Kamala Harris had won. Imagine where the SPLC would be now. Imagine how torn apart this country would be. And by the way, I hope that this thing mends, but I don't know, because there are people like you, Jessica, who have such a sunk cost in this belief that this is a belief you were tricked into believing, to think that there's all these racists hiding behind every Cracker Barrel. No, you know what the racists were? They were the anti-racist black activists who saw this as a way to go after whites. This racism that you created was designed to allow for a different kind of racism. And I go back to the contrast. We don't have to defend our racists because we don't know who they are, because you create them. Meanwhile, we don't have to make up your racist because you're standing there with Hassan Piker. These guys are right there in our face.
It's just truly ridiculous. And he finally got to that point where, I mean, I don't know how long you can sit next to somebody who will never, ever be able to see facts and possibly even wiggle into her brain that she could be misled, that God forbid she could be wrong. Jessica Tarlov, Charlottesville was created. It was bought and paid for by the Southern Poverty Law Center. They cashed in on it brilliantly. The media cut up what President Trump said, one of the first examples of selective editing. And we know that demonstrably. How come you don't? How come you don't? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, President Trump put something out. White House put something out yesterday. It's about the reflecting pool at the Lincoln Monument. Or is it the Washington? No, it's the Lincoln Monument. No, it's the Washington Memorial. I forget what it is. It's a reflecting pool, and it needed a lot of help. President Trump uses this as an example about what he's doing, coming in under budget and ahead of schedule. And it's brilliant. Next. Lincoln Memorial. My fault. Lincoln Memorial. Duh. All I could see was the Washington Monument. Right?
I thought it's Lincoln, though.
Yes, it is Lincoln.
Because it's where
yes,
the speech,
yes.
I Have a Dream.
Yes. Yes. Let's see how you guys are doing. What are you talking about over here? 255 comments. I love it. Let's see what's the newest here. Thanks, Waterman. I hear you. Hi, Pryan. Hi. Yeah, I see SG5. I see it. People wearing masks still. It's ridiculous. Oh, wow. SG5 says I'm the hottest 50-plus young lady on the podcast circuit.
Isn't there only like one? I mean, that's
Megan
just a
Kelly's,
softball.
she's my age. We're the same age. I think I got her by 2 months or something like that. Brazil, I love you too. Oh my gosh, you guys are funny. Fake moon landing. I'm torn about the moon landing, says Kay Marion, but I tend to think it was faked. Well, let me tell you about the healthy fat. I'll tell you something that's not fake, and that is that your ability to lose significant weight, thanks to Dr. Gundry, and a powder that is so simple that you scoop it and stick it in your water, and it makes it taste delicious. I'm drinking it right now. I've got the watermelon lemonade one. And I will tell you, fantastic, delicious. And then what it does is it stops you from eating. It stops you from craving food. It stops your hunger pains from driving you bananas. It stops you from dipping into a whole octave of Pringles. It stops you from eating a bag of 25 Munchkins. That's what it does. All things I've done. Yes, it's called the Healthy Fat. You can get it by going to MCT Wellness. Or rather, you can go by, it's called MCT Wellness, but you can get it by going to thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. Supports productions of ketones for more energy. That's huge. MCT and polyphenols to support brain health. Dietary supplement. Dr. Gundry says, no joke, you use this as a meal supplement. Use it a day, every day, once or twice a day, drinking water. You will lose 50, 60, 80 pounds. Yes, that's what he says. Because he has. Dr. Gundry, world-renowned cardiothoracic surgeon. Thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. There's a great video. Enjoy the video. The video teaches you everything. And then you're like, promise. I do. Let's see it. You guys can get us to 2.75, can't you? Let's see. Well, no, because we've got 2.26 right now. It's a bad look. Okay. I'm so excited to talk about the Cougars.
Aren't we all?
Cute, cute, good news. I cried. It's not surprising. Reflecting pool. What was wrong with the reflecting pool? Lincoln Memorial. Lincoln Monument Memorial. There we go. Oh, fantastic. Well, welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. If you've ever been able to get to Washington, D.C. with your family and see what is truly one of America's greatest cities, just the history of it, all the monuments, you've seen the reflecting pool at the Lincoln Memorial. Apparently, it's had some serious problems. I had no idea. It was built in 1922. It didn't have the proper support pilings, apparently. And it sank about a foot over the decades, causing cracks and massive water loss. I guess in 2012, before it was rebuilt, it was losing up to 700,000 gallons of water a day. Like, what? It's faced all these problems, severe leaking, algae buildup, structural degradation, even parasites. And so somebody comes in and like, we're going to help. We're going to fix this. But President Trump decided to sit down in the Oval Office and put together a video for you that I think tells you a lot more than what it simply says. Listen.
I thought I'd bring up a subject of interest. I do a lot of this as president and try and save money. And one was the Lincoln Memorial Reflecting Pool, which everybody knows. That's where Martin Luther King made his great speech and where others have likewise made great speeches and great events held there. It's very famous. It was built in 1922, and it's more than 2,000 feet long. It's 167 feet wide. It's very big. That's like taller than any skyscraper, 2,000 feet. And here's a picture of it. You probably recognize it. Right now, it's got no water in it because It was in terrible shape. It was filthy, dirty, and it leaked like a sieve for many years. So I actually went with Secret Service and a group of people, and I took a look at it. One of the people with me was Doug Burgum, great Secretary of the Interior. This comes under his purview, and he said, yes, we've had a lot of problems with it. It's not working. It hasn't worked for many years, and it's always filthy dirty. And I said, well, we're going to solve the problem. And they had bids to fix it. They were going to take the stone out, which was granite, very expensive, very thick, and replace it with stone. And it was going to cost $300 million. And it was going to take maybe more than 3 years. And I said, no, there's a better way of doing it. I said, what we're going to do is I'm going to call all 3 of these people that have worked for me in the past doing swimming pools. That's all they can do is a swimming pool. And I said, give me a good price. We can do it for maybe $1.5 million to $2 million as opposed to $300 million. We scrubbed the surface of the existing granite that's been there since 1922. We then grouted all of the granite, fixed it up, took about 2 weeks, and now we have a nice clean surface on which we're putting a industrial grade swimming pool topping. And they said, what color would you like, sir? It's called American flag blue. I said, that's the color I want. I want American flag blue. It'll last for 40 or 50 years. There'll be no leaks. There'll be no anything. It'll look gorgeous, beautiful. So it's a story in business. And here's the difference, because somebody said, well, sir, but wouldn't it be a better job? I said, no, this is a much better job for much less money. It will look far more beautiful than it did in 1922 when they built it, much more beautiful. So we build it in much less time for much less money. But I don't mean much less. I mean numbers that nobody can even believe. So it's $1.5 million versus 300. It's 2 weeks versus more than 3 years. And that's just the way it is. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
That's just the way it is. What an odd thing for the leader of the free world to talk about. Fixing the reflecting pool. Except it's perfect. This is exactly what this president is telling you. Pay attention. I did it for $1.5 million. They wanted $300 million. We did it in 2 weeks. They wanted 3 years. We can't keep running over budget and well past schedule. And that's exactly the story of the demise of these United States. And finally, you have a president who's like, yo, I know people. Let me get them on the phone. Hey, Bill, remember that pool you put in? Yeah, like the one at Mar-a-Lago. You think you could do that for the Lincoln Memorial? It's kind of bigger, but I mean, how bad can it be? Sure, Mr. President, we'll meet you tomorrow and do an estimate. Okay. And if you normally do it, well, we're going to form a steering panel. We're going to have a committee that discusses the racial implications of water. And of course, if we do blue, that really is so difficult for all of the people who can't see that color. So we'll get to you and we'll raise money for it, and it'll be $5 billion. That's it, ladies and gentlemen, to a T. And the president of the United States just told you his mantra, ahead of schedule and under budget. Boom. When we come back, why is Gen Z running into the arms of cougar women? Next. That was creepy. Sorry. On the Wendy Bell radio program. Oh. I love him. I literally love this president. And I know, I don't care what you think. You're like, man, I don't like what he does. I don't care. I love him. I absolutely freaking love him. I love Tom Homan, who's crusty and rough around the edges. And I'm sure he's got calloused fingers, right? And I love him. What he's put on the line for his family and himself to go out there and shut our border and fix a freaking problem caused by people who suck. And they have Chuck Schumer poop all over his agents. Oh, I'd want to choke somebody and throw him down the stairs.
I thought Trump was saying way more, like you said, way more.
It's more than a pool, folks. Way more.
you could take that same thing that he just said, and it was about Jerome Powell and the building. They $4 billion for a building over budget.
Hello. Let's look at okay.
Waste, fraud, and abuse.
Okay. Let's look at Trump's presidential library vis-a-vis Obama's
Bunker.
Mm.
It's what it looks like. It looks like a bomb shelter bunker above ground. It's ugly.
It's concrete, right? It's like driving by any elementary school made in the 1970s in America. You're like, well, that's a prison or an elementary school, right? It's all the same where you're like, I cannot get out
By
of
the
here.
way, you need an ID to get in.
Yeah. What a douche. GLP-1 Gold. You guys, I'm going to tell you about GLP. You hear about GLP. You're like, I feel a little squish. I got some muffin top going on over here. What can I do? Well, a lot of people do get the weight loss shots, but those are super sketch. And I know a lot of people here have questions about the dependability of Big Pharma. This is why I like Juvenon. Juvenon isn't about giving you prescription medications. It's about giving you things that occur in nature that they know about, that they can put in a capsule to give to you to get your brain and your gut communicating with each other so that you don't eat so darn much. That's what this protein is. It's a GLP, it's a hormone. It's a hormone naturally produced in your gut after you eat. And so you eat a certain bit and then you're like, woo! For me, I'm 8 months pregnant, right? You feel stuffed and you stop. Some people don't have that hormone. They don't have that communication. And so you get big and it's hard to lose the weight. If you're serious about significant weight loss and you'd like to do it for about $1 a day, GLP-1 Gold from Juvenon, bloodflow7.com/Wendy. Go to bloodflow7.com/Wendy. Everything there is 30% off. This is my favorite stuff. I don't have significant weight to lose. The most I want to lose is probably 5 to 7 pounds. So this isn't for me. But if you've got 40, 50, 80, 100 pounds, bloodflow7.com/Wendy. Look for the GLP-1 Gold. How you doing?
Back to Cougar talk.
You're back on the Cougar line.
Yeah.
Phil, what would you like to ask? I don't know. I don't really necessarily look at younger. I never understood the teacher-student thing. I thought that was disgusting.
I will say this.
Right?
You're 55.
6,
whatever. Could you be interested in a man that's 46? Because you're considered a cougar then, so it's not like you're looking at a 27-year-old.
No, you're right.
You're
right. Depending on where you are in your life.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
I'm 50. I 40. Okay, I could, I wouldn't be a cougar, but
I think the thing that's more interesting to me about this article is why young men are leaving the young women of their generation.
Because they're nuts.
No, it's more than that. And if you give it away, I'll throat punch you and I will throw you down the stairs so fast. See, the problem with going to the bathroom is now I have to go to the bathroom again. And I don't want to go to the bathroom again.
Yeah,
you don't have time.
So you just have to go right there. Get you a bucket.
Did you see they're making a car that has a poopy seat? You can drive and go potty at the same time.
Is that like texting and driving, shitting and driving? Like, we're going to see signs. Don't text and drive next time. Don't dump and drive.
No poop and...
Your hair's going on to the side.
This one?
Yeah. No pooping and driving. Then we'll have commercials.
All right.
It probably cut down on speeding, though. How many times you're like, I don't know if I'm going to make it home. You start going a lot faster.
Let's see if we can pull this bad boy off in a hurry.
In a minute.
Have some faith. I'm
not
not
saying
it's
people here. If you're new, give us a rumble. Give us a follow.
Duh. Okay. I think there's a chunk that I missed.
You've all just tuned in for the Cougar Talk.
It's,
Cougar Talk.
It's Delilah.
105.9.
It's Delilah.
Cougar Talk.
Cougar, where are you calling from? It's so bizarre. Wait, do I have something sticking up? I do. Look, Brock wouldn't have told me that I had a big bobby pin. See it sticking up right
did.
there? You said I had a bobby pin sticking
I said
up?
your hair's sticking out.
That's not a bobby pin, turkey burger.
Wow.
Get with the program. You've been married for like 15 years. What are you? A bachelor?
I'm not a sucker. No, those jeans don't make you look fat. Fridge did, but.
Bell radio program. I am loving this Revolver News website. I think they've got some of the greatest writers. Tyler Durden, I think, might be on there. He's great. Revolver.news. I saw this today and was like, dang it, this is perfect Friday fodder. Look, I am the mom of 5 Generation Z sons. 3 of them are adults. 2 more are about to be in the next 2 months. All of them talk about the difficulty in making a connection with a young woman these days. Certainly, I'm not thinking my youngest boys are looking to get it on, but I know my older boys who are 26 and 24 is starting to happen. They've got some friends who have lifelong girlfriends or high school sweethearts or whatever, and they're getting engaged. A few have children. And my kids look at each other and they're like, are you crazy? With what's out there today? No. Hell no. Well, that's where this comes in. Angry young women. We call those toxic, college-educated, white liberal chicks. But anyway, the scourge of society right there. Angry young women are driving Gen Z men straight into the arms of cougars. Let's go. As a 56-year-old mom, I'm super interested in this. For about the past 10 years or so, the left has been running the same tired little hustle on repeat. Men are toxic. Masculinity is dangerous. Our boys are broken, and women are the noble, enlightened victims forced to endure all of it. Every cultural message that they pump out points in the same direction. Blame the men. Lecture the men. Shame the men, make sure they know that they're the problem, and then act shocked when they stop showing up. Well, and now, are we supposed to be surprised that young Gen Z men are looking elsewhere? Huh? Turns out the modern girl power movement isn't fun, uplifting, flirty, or even all that confident. It's angry, it's bitter, it's joyless, and to make matters worse, it's built around envy, nagging, emotional manipulation, and punishment. It keeps insisting that men and women are the same in every single way, even though they obviously aren't, and that there's nothing wrong with saying that. Men and women are different, period. They want different things. They bring different energy, period. Well, now a new report is showing the obvious outcome of this hateful campaign. Gen Z men are tired of being treated like garbage by their female peers, and many are turning toward older women instead. Why? Because older women are less performative, hostile, less soaked in online feminist poison. Older women tend to be more open to actual warmth and kindness and connection. In other words, young men are going where the anger is not boiling over. There's been this picture painted by the left that boys are spiraling while girls are supposedly thriving. But the truth is the opposite is happening, and the emotional rot is oozing out of the female side. This is from the Telegraph. If you've been on the internet in the past decade, you've heard that. That says archetypal, whatever that word is. New York Times opinion headline put it, the boys are not all right. According to countless think pieces and Netflix dramas, most young men are spending their days indulging in violence and writing in online chat rooms about how much they hate women. In 2018, the word incel was a finalist for Oxford Dictionary's Word of the Year. In 2025, the Dutch Language Institute crowned manosphere as the emerging world word of the year, in part, they said, because of the popular drama Adolescence, about a quiet little boy slaying a girl in his class because of something she said on the internet. The reality is America's young men are finding church. They're going to church more regularly, and they're meeting other young people there, namely women of faith with whom they can make that connection. But it's so curious to us. The sad truth is that a whole lot of young women have turned into miserable little grievance mongers. And somehow that's supposed to be empowerment. It's not. It's actually a social disaster. The emotional divide between young men and young women is now measurable. A pollster in England revealed just how dire the numbers are. 38% of men, she wrote, say they feel very positively towards women, while only 18% of women say the same about men. This trend is particularly pronounced among women under 25, of whom just 35% feel positively towards men. You know, young men are still willing to approach women with basic goodwill, while young women are being trained to see men as the enemy. And that's where this whole thing goes off the rails, because you can't build healthy relationships on that type of foundation. You can't build families on it either. And logically, men are going to eventually throw up their hands and they'll bail. And that's exactly what's happening. Young men are turning their attention toward women who are less hostile and more open to actual affection. New York Times recently reported that older women are in demand by younger men, adding that the dating app field has reported huge growth in the preference in the past 2 years. According to a 50-year-old woman on this dating site who chronicled her week on the app in an article, she said about 30% of the men that were coming to see her or would click on her profile were under the age of 35. She's 50. What is it that they find alluring about the thought of being with a 50-year-old? Do they think I'm rich and imagine I'll take care of them? Do they think I'm experienced and can show them a few tricks? Or is it simply that they think I would be grateful for the attention and therefore more likely to say yes to a date? Doesn't matter. A lot of these young men aren't chasing older women because they're looking to fulfill some weird fantasy. They're doing it because older women are just easier to be around. Just easier to be around. If you strip away all the feminist jargon and all of the media hooey here, the answer is totally simple. Young men are going where they think they'll be treated like a decent human being. Why would they go where they're not wanted? It feels like a harsh reflection on young women, and maybe it should be, because being young and politically fashionable doesn't automatically make someone pleasant, desirable, or emotionally healthy. And these days, it basically makes them a social monster and a raging lunatic. Well, that's how young men see young women in some instances. But this is where I thought was very interesting. Married moms say they are twice as likely to be very happy than single or childless women. It's wild. This whole idea that you get into that conventional vibe again. I'm a woman, you are a man. We together create a family. I nurture that family, and I provide it warmth and love and touch. That's the key. It is the touch. When asked what they miss, what they want, young men don't say sex. They don't say it's money. They don't say it's companionship. It's touch. It's having someone literally put their hands on them. That connection, that basic, that primal, and that needed. So, I'm feeling pretty good at 56 right now. My 5 sons are like, shut up, Mom. Keep moving on. You'll be fine, boys. Don't you worry about it. Mom said so. Duh. Love my boyfriend, Steve Hartman. He's older than I, so it's safe. It's good, clean love. I can say that. Steve Hartman takes us on the road to Florida. It's such a cute story where a little boy has formed a very special bond with. You know, sometimes that man just tells the greatest stories, and that was definitely one of them. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, it is Bad Joke Friday, and we haven't proofread them, so this is dangerous. Next.
You didn't proofread?
Like you ever have. How many times have I read this and it's like, and it's like, oh, I shouldn't have done that sex joke. And I'm like, we're live on the radio. What are we doing? Right? If Brock could only be as perfect as I am.
Right. At least I can get it together.
Oh my God. It's the picture of him.
I do like going to dog shelters. Just to
That's
pet the
why
dog.
I never wanted a dog. I hate all of you.
You never wanted a dog
No.
because of the end. That is ridiculous mentality.
That is not very friendly for you to say that.
I will give up 13 to 14 years of being happy with a dog because of the end.
Shut up. My skyhook just crashed.
Hey, at least
Sorry,
I always
Kareem.
say, put your wife in the trunk of a car with the dog, open the trunk of the car, leave them in there for a while, open the trunk of the car, see who's happy to see you. It ain't your wife.
Oh my God, I cannot believe that's your litmus test. Oh my God.
It ain't your
Are
wife.
you kidding me?
Dog's always happy to see you.
Oh my gosh.
Dog is always
okay.
happy.
I'm
Dog's
not
like,
talking to you
thank
right now.
God you're
No.
here.
I'm reading these jokes because I cannot believe that's what you just said. Oh my God. Okay. Ooh, okay.
Change my mind. Tell me I'm wrong. Dog is always happy. Dog doesn't argue with you. Dog's always happy to see you. Yeah. Wendy does not pretend to cry. She's just a hot mess. She's a hot mess. It just for those that are new, those are the stories that she can't hear me. So those are the stories that she liked to tell. She was a news reporter anchor in local TV for 18 years. Those are the stories she likes to tell. The hoarder go out and get people to donate windows to change their life, you know. So those are the stories that get to her. And when it involves a kid, look out.
So these are cute. I like these. Oh my God. I have to pee again. What is wrong with me? God just
Now,
gave me a UTI.
we I'm a walking UTI. Too bad you didn't have a potty seat. Like
One of the problems with liking cougars is that we use diapers.
they never get out of the bathroom. No, answer me this. Let's put the foot in shoe on the other foot.
Yeah, that's good.
If you put Joe and Murphy in the trunk of a car and you open your car, who would be happy to see you? Now, a guy would probably be like, thank God somebody got the key open. A woman would just, but your dog would be happy to see
I'm not
Facts.
happy to see your rumbles, people, because it's certainly not helping us. And look,
It will not. If you don't
3,000
rumble for
rumbles,
this.
3,000 rumbles. Right.
Radio program. It is Friday. It is the last segment. If you haven't followed us yet, wendybellradio.com. Make no excuses because you know you want to come back. It's time.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just flew in from New York and boy, my arm's tired. I'm joking, of course. Anywho, welcome to the Comedy Club. Won't you give it up to Wendy and Brock for Bad Joke Friday?
All right. These are your horrible jokes, starting with Dr. Richard Rafferty from the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh. A farmer was kind of concerned about drivers who were speeding down the country lane where he lived and endangering his sheep. So he asked the police to put up a sign. They did, to put up a sign, had large letters that said slow. It had like no effect at all. So then the police put up a different sign that said slow, children crossing, still no effect. At last resort, the farmer asked the police, look, can I put up my own sign? The police agreed, and when the officers drove by the farm a week later to see if there was any improvement, the officers were amazed to see traffic like crawling slowly along the lane. And then the officer noticed the farmer's handmade sign on the side of the road. It read, nudist colony.
I would speed up. I'd be like, people who go to nudist colonies aren't the people you want to see naked.
It's true.
Eh,
I agree.
I don't want to see your
Okay.
thingies.
Okay. Wow.
Why are women's feet shorter than men's? So the dishwasher can be closer to the sink.
My son asked if training to be a locksmith, it would be worth it. And I told him, of course, it'll open up a lot of doors. Yeah, I know.
Did you hear about the novelist who wrote a book about when he fell into an open septic tank?
Oh, ew.
Do you know what the title was?
No.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
So disgusting. A pirate walks into a bar with a paper towel on his head. The bartender asks why he's wearing such a weird hat. And the pirate responds, arg, there'll be a bounty on me head.
Oh, you got all the bad ones. I went to the Oreo website and clicked on accept all cookies. Now we wait.
What do you call somebody who's had too much to drink? Cab.
Oh, gosh. Coffee was just voted the best drink in the nation, but it was an unfair vote. There were absentee ballots. It was rigged.
How do you find a blind man in a nudist colony? It ain't hard. Stop. I'm sweating a little bit. Okay.
So a flight attendant said, do we have a doctor on board? I said, I have a PhD in mathematics.
Oh.
The flight attendant says, one passenger is having a heart attack and one passenger is having an asthma attack. I nodded and said, yeah, that makes two.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't write it.
I learned to mind my own business. I'll tell you how. I was walking past a fence and I heard people chanting 13, 13, 13. So I looked through a hole in the fence, was poked in the eye with a stick from the other side. And everybody started chanting 14, 14, 14.
That would teach you a lesson. Hillary and her chauffeur are driving through the countryside when suddenly an old cow runs into the road. Chauffeur gets out and looks at the now very dead cow that he hit. The chauffeur calls to the back seat. I'm going to walk over to the farmhouse and tell them about their cow. It shouldn't take but a few minutes. Hillary just waves him away and off he goes. An hour later, he returns. And his clothes are all disheveled, covered in lipstick, and carrying a full glass of champagne, looking somewhat worse for the wear. Hillary Clinton is not pleased. And just where have you been? She looks down her nose and the half-drunk chauffeur. Well, he said, I knocked on the door, introduced myself, told them I'm Hillary Clinton's chauffeur, and I just killed the old cow. Next thing I know, the old man's giving me a cigar, his wife's filling my glass with champagne, and his daughter is covering me with kisses. What can I do but enjoy the hospitality?
I love it.
The old cow.
A woman decides she's finally going to get into shape and start jogging. She jogs several miles. She's feeling really great about herself, but a guy drives by, points out the window, and shouts, "Pig!" The woman shouts back, "How dare you!" And then she trips over a pig.
Oh, God. What did the buffalo say when his son went off to college? Bye, son.
Oh, geez, that was so dumb. I knew this really sketchy guy. Like, seriously, the guy never finished a single drawing. That was
Oh, my gosh. Where do cows go on Saturday nights?
Hmm.
The movies.
Why do moms have to make 2 appointments at the optometrist each year? Because they have eyes in the back of their heads.
My personal trainer asked me what type of squats I'm accustomed to do. I replied, diddly.
My grandfather told me when I was a boy, you could walk into a grocery store with $2 in your pocket and walk out with a loaf of bread, a dozen eggs, and even a little butter. Wow, I replied. That is amazing. And he goes, I know, shaking his head. Sadly, these days there's too many cameras.
Oh, God. I just bought a sweet car online. It's previously owned by Neil Diamond. You have to read it, though.
Love you guys. Have a great weekend. WendyBellRadio.com. See you Monday, noon. Peace.